What it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Good morning. How is everybody feeling today? It's your boy, Jersey the King. We are here. We are live. It's the Gridiron Podcast Show. Today, we're going to have a special guest on, my boy Matthew Tyler from the XFL Insider Podcast. So, y'all get ready for that. We got some XFL Combine news. We got a bunch of NFL news. We got some NCAA Preseason Top 25 ranking news and what I think my ranking is going to be going into the regular season for the college football regular season coming up. And we're going to go over what I feel the top 25 is, in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get this show started, y'all. Y'all know how we rock, man. Hit that intro one more time. Well, let's get it on. What's going on, Matthew?
What is up, brother? How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to the owner and host of the XFL Insider Podcast, Matthew Tyler. Welcome onto the show, man. Welcome to the Gridiron. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day, man. How does it feel to be here? How are you feeling today,
man? This is my first guest appearance on the show, so I appreciate you having me greatly.
Man, that's awesome. I'm happy to have you, and happy you actually chose this show to be the first. So that's an honor as well. Now, before we really get into our conversation about, the XFL and the XFL Combine and the current offseason and what's going on, I want to know, and my fans and viewers want to know a little bit more about you, Matthew Tyler. How did you get into journalism? How did you get into video podcasting? How did you get into dealing with the XFL and becoming a approved media credential, and actually being an approved media person for the XFL? How did this all come about, and how did Matthew Tyler become Matthew Tyler?
Man, it's been a long few years for me. I've always been involved in athletics. I've always been involved doing things. Let me fix this camera real quick. There we go. Always been doing different things along the way. I was a coach, player, a big fan of the New Orleans Saints, as you see over there. A lot of different things that led me to this path. Big XFL fan back in the 2020 rendition. Battlehawks all the way back then. Now it's a little different. But anyway, man, it's been a long road. Always was involved with athletics, education. I really enjoy helping people and doing things. So I feel like that was my biggest involvement getting in this, just getting the word out about the XFL.
There's you right there with some of the New Orleans cheerleaders.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty active in terms of sports. I've been to a lot of games, a lot of events. Like I said, coach, played.
Oh, sorry about that. So
yeah, that does that to me too.
Is this the AAF?
Yeah. So that's the AAF. That's the Alliance of American Football that came out back in, I want to say 2018, maybe 17. I can't remember exactly. That was at the Memphis Express game in Liberty Bowl Stadium. That was the moment that I fell in love with spring football. So that's a very important piece. That moment right there. That I think it cost. Yeah, bro. That was.
It's not no beard.
That was like 20,
guys, no beard whatsoever.
Bro. That was actually during a coaching a point in my life when I was coaching. I coached at the school that I actually went to high school at. Troubled area, real poor, urban type country atmosphere. It's very different than what most people know, but that was coaching. That's actually the Battlehawks game, the very first one they had. Me and my best friend Ben right there. We attended all the games in XFL 2.0, beginning first with the Arlington Renegades game against the Battlehawks. And I think I sent you a picture of that too. That was our first actual game for that. As you see, and if I remember correctly, the X-Fan show to our left, they were behind us doing a live.
Yeah, you sent me that
during that time. So yeah, it's just a good time, man. I enjoy athletics. I enjoy sports. I really enjoy giving the man and the people that don't have a voice. I like helping. I enjoy just being a positive influence and a network for whatever it may be, whether it's youth, troubled youth, troubled football programs, stuff that's just not very successful. I feel like I have a niche that I really can work and get things going and involved. What led me to start the podcast actually was just posting on Facebook, man. Back a couple of years ago, last year, I started posting heavily in groups and such and got some feedback, started having some good discussions. One thing led to another, and I said, hey, let's just start a page, see what happens. So I started the page. Intended on doing a podcast, but it was supposed to be just something like quick, nothing really significant. Fell into a group, Ambush Sports. I found them through the discussion boards as well, and hooked up with them, and kind of met some other guys that could really be some role models and foundations to get like the skills I needed to do the video casting as well as audio casting. Because when we first started, it was just an audio podcast. So it was a lot more work, a lot more stuff was involved. You couldn't just pop on air and do an interview. We had different pieces we were connecting together, editing them, and it was a lot more work. But as I say now, like this is super enjoyable. I want to say thanks to Ambush Sports. They're really the people that got me into those games as credentialed media. I shot my way around when I was just with the podcast numerous times, and I could not get much feedback. But once I hooked up with Ambush, I met the people I needed to meet that got me in, and I was credentialed. I was credentialed with the Houston Roughnecks, and it was a great time, man. I got a lot of on-the-field access. I got to sit in the box the whole games. Stuff that I never saw as a coach, fan, player, things that you never even knew existed. Windows opened up and stuff happened. So that's really how I got involved in being a credentialed media.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Now, everyone knows that getting into that type of position does take a lot of work. And my question to you is, did you have to do a lot of journalism work to get noticed as well, and especially part of being a part of being with Ambush?
So I won't say I had to do a lot of journalism work per se. I haven't wrote any articles. I haven't put out any publications. Really what I focus on is the content creation and the fan engagement. I feel like those are my two strongest things I bring to the table. Back last year, that was the content creation. And that doesn't mean videos. It didn't mean that. That meant like highlights or advertising the player or showing things off. It wasn't anything significant. So I would say that is what brought me to the table with Ambush Sports. It wasn't necessarily a journalism. I can write. I've got a master's degree. I've got an academic background. But I tell you, it's like after you do that stuff for so many years, man, it's not enjoyable.
You get burnt out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's not enjoyable. This is enjoyable. Just this conversation we're having right now, like this is something that's impactful that will always sit with you. So exactly. Like I said, I feel like this is what got me involved with Ambush, and this is still. Ambush is a great crew to be with, but I'm still one of the number one content creators and people putting out stuff with that group weekly, monthly, yearly. So look forward to more work from them. And like I said, it's a fan-driven group, so it's not professionals per se, but these guys are professionals because a lot of these folks do have the backgrounds, they have the positions, they have the jobs, they know the people. So it's just a good time, man, and that's what really brought me to the table.
Awesome. Now, how long have you been with Ambush now? You're going on 2 years, correct?
No, sir. So I started with Ambush. I want to say I didn't start till February. That's when I got on with them. Yeah, I planned out the podcast.
I thought it was actually longer. Okay.
No, sir. I planned out the show last year. I had a lot of stuff going last year, a lot of deaths that had happened back to back, unfortunately. So I really was trying to get this show going. Oh, it's okay, bro. It is what it is. We all face those challenges. It's just working through them. But I really was trying to get this show going last year and kind of do like I'm doing now, where I'm having guests on and personalities and players, but it was just too much going on. I couldn't do it. So
Right.
I tried to do this thing, like I said, by myself December, January, and I was just facing too many barriers alone. It's really difficult to do this alone, as you know. It's a lot of work, a lot of research.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you know because you're doing the same stuff, bro.
Yeah, and I actually do it all on my own. I'm looking to, join a team like Ambush Sports or a team similar to them, and get a little bit of assistance when it comes to doing certain things. But like I said, doing my research and trying to reach out to different players or coaches. I've been trying to reach out to Coach Blevins since he got hired on, and it's the hardest thing. That's one of my biggest challenges right now, actually trying to get in contact with Coach Blevins to actually have him on the Fan Gang Nation show, so we can try and bring some more of the XFL culture to that show, to let everybody know that that is the Vegas Vipers show. Just like you guys out there in Houston, all you Houston Roughneck fans, you guys have the Rough 'em Up show.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you guys have a show for your team. And I felt like bringing one to the Vegas Vipers team and making one for the fans, especially living out here, you know what I mean? It's easier for me to go and get the local fan engagement as well and try and build it up to where next season, the Viper Pit's going to be packed at Cashman. You know what I mean? And that's my goal. I keep calling it the Viper Pit because I'm going to be there next season at all the home games for sure. So I'll be in the Viper Pit. I'll actually be there with my microphone and my camera, and we're going to be ready to go, man. So
I'm excited for you, dude.
I'm looking forward to, getting in with a team like Ambush Sports, or like I said, someone like them, just to get that type of help, that type of experience as well, to be around journalists and to really get the mind of what journalists have to go through and what they're thinking when they're going to making their articles and doing their research and all the work that they have to do. Now, when it comes to actually doing journalism work, will you ever utilize that masters? I know you said after doing it so long you just get burnt out and the enjoyment isn't there, but now that you have the enjoyment doing the video casting and being out there, having the media approval to go on the field and get all that field access and possibly locker room access as well, would you consider doing some type of journalism if need be, to further your career?
Oh, no doubt. No, yeah, I definitely look forward to the future, what happens, but I mean, it's just one step at a time, and I'm a perfectionist. I like to do things, and I like things to be perfect, and not necessarily top of the line perfect, but I want my product to look good. I want it to sound good, and I want my brand to be legitimate.
Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely feel like I could write down the road or sometime in the future. But honestly, Jersey, man, there's no time right now. As it goes, it's busy. I've been trying to put out shows, 2 or 3 shows a week, just because I'm not going to have as much going in August. But I mean, the more guests you talk to, the more stuff you plan, the more things that go on, it consumes your life, and that's okay. But I just don't see me having the time right now to do any writing. Hopefully down the road. I do enjoy writing. It's not a bad thing, but I feel like this right here is where it's at for me for now. And I had a guy, Avion. I don't know if you're familiar. Avion Plummer. He's going to be joining me as a contributor to the podcast. So I'm getting these personalities. I'm getting these people so that I can take some of that load off my back and work on other things, such as writing down the road. When I come into this, I don't want to be like anyone else. I want to be myself individually. And so, trying to take components of each thing is really what I want to do and give the fans what they want.
Exactly. Completely understand. And that's actually something I was thinking about too, getting a co-host or, someone to help out with the show, because like you said, it is very, very time consuming. It does take up a lot, having to do the research, having to do all the content creating, the editing of videos, and preparing for shows like this, and reaching out to different people to get them on the show and get different guests on the show. It's a hard process and it's a long process, especially when you're trying to be as successful as we are when it comes to all this. What's going on, Gabriel? Welcome into the show. We got a few viewers in here. This is Matthew Tyler, the host and owner of the XFL Insider Podcast, live here on the Gridiron Podcast Show. And we're just getting to know him, man. We're getting to know a lot more about how he's gotten the access that he's gotten and how he's able to do the things that he's done. So if you guys have any questions for him, feel free to ask them in the chat. And Matt, I have a segment on my show that I actually have called Fan Mail. And for you today, we actually have some fan mail. The first mail time question comes from GV Adisk, and he asked, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Whew, that's a tough one. You know, right now it's month to month. I definitely see myself doing some kind of network contribute. Sorry, I can't talk today. Some kind of network work. I want to work with different places. I want to work with different people, collaborations. I don't care necessarily. I'm not going to align myself anywhere, but you know, I definitely just want to be successful in what we're doing. So far, the data, the metrics that I have for my socials and stuff is really a positive outlook for that future. So really hope to expand this thing, make some things better, improve, get more personalities, more opinions, more content. So more and more content. I mean, that's really what I'm aiming for. I feel like as we go with the XFL and as well as spring football in general, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about, whether it be players, news, coaches, whatever. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And this little niche here, there's not too many personalities doing things. I mean, we've got a few stuff here and there, but if you want to watch and get some inside information, there's not many places you can do that without researching all this on your own, from my opinion. So I really just want to improve that aspect of the alt sports community.
That's one of the realest things I've ever heard when it comes to us doing this, being the personalities of this league and fellow spring leagues as well. So that's a great goal to have, man. Next question he actually has 3 questions for you. GV also asked, how stressful is it being a XFL journalist or, you know, content creator and podcaster?
I mean, come season time, especially when you're forking this stuff out of your pocket, it can be kind of stressful. I mean, I traveled to Houston for all the games, and that wasn't covered on anybody's dime but my own. Need be, I mean, you get into the game for free. They feed you. It's a really good experience. They give you drinks. I mean, it's not like you're not there sitting in the stands. You're in a specialty place. But I mean, that aspect alone consumed my life during season. Once the season was over, this isn't as stressful, but it's definitely a mark on your life. I mean, you could ask my girlfriend. I mean, this is what I do. This is what I do all the time. So, you know, I won't say it's stressful right now. In season, it's a little more stressful, especially when you're traveling hundreds of miles or 100 miles for these games and events. So, I'd say probably on a 7 to 10 during the season. Right now, it's probably like a 5 out of 10. It's relaxed. I mean, I'm sitting in my office with my stuff. I'm still not done doing the studio, but I mean, how nice is this? Just having a conversation in my office with you while you're in Vegas. I'm in South Mississippi. I mean,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm on the coast of Mississippi, all the way down, man. There's actually a beach down here and everything.
Oh, that must be beautiful. Thank you to the viewers watching on Facebook as well. Dorian, Jessica, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, Jessica. I'm proud of myself, man. I'm happy to be at this place now. You know what I mean? And you know, actually succeeding with doing this and getting recognized as well. You know, so it's a good feeling. Next question from GV Addis. He asked, what is your favorite part about your job?
Helping the players. That's it. I've really got to experience talking to some of these guys that haven't made it to the league or trying to make it to a league or trying to make it to the next step in the league. And whether it be an interview on air or just phone conversations or through Twitter or Facebook, I found that getting to know these guys and just getting their stories out is really the most enjoyable thing I've found so far about this whole experience. all these people and all these different aspects of life, they're so different, but they're somewhat similar. And a lot of these guys are working through a lot of adversity, a lot of issues, a lot of things that they can't help, they were born into. So I would say that getting some exposure on these men or women, if there is any. I mean, I'd love to interview a woman anytime. So come on. I mean, either way, I don't care. But just saying that, like that's the most enjoyable experience so far, hands down. I mean, I've had many conversations with these athletes, and most of them were not on air. This was through the phone or through Twitter. And you get to find out what's really happening. Now, I'm not going to go around telling everybody's business, but just knowing that and just being able to appreciate those aspects of that player, man, it makes a big difference in what I'm doing daily. Yeah. And I want to say, Jersey, man, you're doing a good job too. I noticed you about 2-3 weeks ago. I started watching, paying attention. So, I mean, you keep doing what you're doing, bro, and being consistent, bringing positivity, doing you in your own way, but still bringing this exposure and fan engagement. You're gonna get where you want to be. You're not gonna be a celebrity, but you will be famous amongst the XFL community, where you can walk into an event and people will know who you are.
And that's my goal.
And you'll get there, bro. It's work, and it's hustle, and it's emails, and it's phone calls, and don't think any of this like you asked about the credentials. I probably emailed 100 times about these credentials. So just keep doing you, keep grinding. I know you're going to make it somewhere, man. So keep doing it.
I really appreciate that, man. I really, really do. And I think it's going to be easy for me being out here in Vegas because I live here.
Yep.
I have access to the stadium. I have access to the team whenever they're in Vegas. You know what I mean? So if there ever were to hold events and things like that, I can be the voice, for the fans to be out there, helping the fan engagement, bringing more fans to the actual events, and just trying to grow not only the support of the team, but the support of the league as well. Because I know that us guys that are actually doing this, our voices are what is going to grow the XFL and help the XFL succeed for a long time to come. You know what I mean? It's guys like us who are out here, putting in all this grunt work and making all this out of pocket cost that no one else is, taking care of and things like that. So for me, I think being in a city that has an XFL team and having all this access, it's not going to be easier, but I think the legwork won't be as tough, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because I'm here, and then the city itself, you got Las Vegas. You can't deny just the attraction of the city of Las Vegas itself. So if we can bring that attraction within not only the XFL team of the Vegas Vipers, but the league, I think making it blow up out here in Las Vegas will be easy for me. So I really appreciate you saying that, because my goal is to really maximize the exposure of not only the Vegas Vipers, but maximize the exposure of the XFL in the city of Las Vegas. So I'm going to be doing some local things, you know what I mean, out here that's going to actually try and, build that trust back up with the fans who lost the trust in the XFL and the XFL, especially from the 1.0 version when we originally had a Las Vegas Outlaws team. So it's just about bringing that fan engagement back, like you said, in the grunt work of actually going out there and doing all the footwork yourself. I think that's going to be my toughest challenge. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to actually put me over the hump once I succeed at overcoming that challenge and actually building the fan base in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because
I think you got the right idea. Definitely.
You like the way you and Arlington from the X-Fan show, A-Train, how you guys promote the Houston Roughnecks and how Dirty promotes the Battlehawks and the whole B-Hawk Live, and how Brahmasita and those guys over there at Horns Forward and all those guys that rough them up, how you guys all blow up the team, and you guys really support your team. That's what I'm trying to do with Vegas, and that's why we're going to win the 2024 XFL championship.
Oh, bro, I hope you do.
I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. 2024, we have the new coach. We have the lineup. We have the new coaching staff. I think we have one of the best chances to win the championship and be the best turnaround team from last season. I honestly do. What do you think about that? I really want to know. What do you think? Do you think that any of the teams, not just Vegas, but Orlando, San Antonio, hell, even St. Louis, even though they had a winning record, do you think the bottom half teams are going to have a nice turnaround season next year?
You know, man, I think that really depends on what happens in the next few months. October, January. I know we have some other drafts going. So I know we just saw on Twitter there's a lot of players' rights within the league going on. And players are going to get to pick whether they want to go.
Didn't Tavon Austin just come to you guys?
Now he is. We have his rights, but he still has to sign. So he's unofficially with us, and we have rights to him. But he can go play in the USFL, the CFL, or even the NFL if he wanted to. Right now, there is no official yet. So that don't get it twisted yet. That's what I'm saying is let's see what happens. Let's see who we got on some rosters. Let's see what other coaching changes may happen, and then we'll go from there. Come November, October, then you're really going to hear my opinion on who's who. But right now, man, it's kind of hard for me to speak analytically about it because we don't know who's going where, who's coming back from where, who's getting sent from where. I mean, there's a lot of factors in there that I just got to sit and wait and see what happens. Of course, I'd love my boys, the Roughnecks, to win it. And from the news so far, it looks like the Roughnecks have an elite squad ready to roll, especially like my guy, like Bryson Eileen and all those guys, Brandon Silvers. I mean, those are all my guys. But once again, what happens if they get called up? What happens if they go play in the CFL? What happens if they do anything else they want? I mean, we don't control that. So that's why I want to say.
There's a quarterback battle down there in Houston. I'm going to keep it 100. As a football fan, I'm not going to be biased and show my hatred towards the Houston Roughnecks being a Viper fan. But I honestly think there's a QB battle down there. Platinum, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here. Ella and GV, I know you will, man. I know you all will help me get to there. But I'll bring that up in a second because we're going to ask Matt's opinion on that as well. But I think there's a QB battle going on between Cole McDonald and your boy Brandon Silvers, because Cole is in my opinion, is more of a multi-threat quarterback than Brandon Silvers is. I feel he is the more mobile. Of course, we've seen that all season long last season. And I feel that when it comes down to the arm, it's debatable. How do you feel? Who would you rather see start, Brandon or Cole?
I'm riding with my guy Silvers. I've been a fan of him since back in the AAF days. I mean, so that's who I'm riding with right now. Cole has a great game. He's got great potential to be great. He's got a whole different skills utilization that can be used on the field. But saying that, you can't run the same offense that you run with Brandon Silvers that you do with Cole McDonald. Those are two completely different styles of play. And so what we saw last year in some of Cole's bad games or his bad game was they were literally running the same offense almost that Silvers ran. I mean, and while that sounds good, in reality, it's not. So that's my opinion on it. I think Cole is a great quarterback, and I would love to see more dual quarterback situations occur such as he gets in the red zone and he runs in and gets a score. There's a pass read option, and he's the guy for it. But as a sit stint right now, I mean, I'm riding with my guy Silvers. Since the Memphis Express days, as you see the football over there, I mean, that's my guy. And even back then he struggled, but I have seen him grow professionally, and I've seen him become this athlete that he can step it up when needed to. What hurt us last year is we lost John Trey Kirkland. That killed the Roughnecks. We were not the same team after that.
And I feel that was a bad thing on the whole team as a whole, because
in general,
especially that wide receiver room, when somebody like that goes down, you got to have a guy step up. And I felt nobody really stepped up for you guys when it came to the wide receiver position, and that kind of hurt Brandon Silver's performance.
Exactly.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. I mean, we have some great receivers that were there, but him and Kirkland had a chemistry. I mean, and it was a chemistry that they kept rolling with, and you could see it. You could see it the moment Kirkland went down, the difference in that it made every week with us. So look forward to having him back.
That he went down. Even that game that he went down, you could tell the rest of the game that it was just a different feel on that sideline. You know what I mean? It was a total different feel. And even the crowd, you could tell it by the crowd. They were hurt. You know, a lot of the Roughneck fans just, you could see it on their faces. You know, I watched that game and it was like, oh man, this is a big loss. And it showed. You know, I feel that that South Division championship game should have went your way. I'm not even gonna lie. But Arlington they came to play. They really did. And I think it's going to be a tough one next season for every team except Arlington. And the only reason why I say this is because you're giving the legendary Bob Stoops and the GOAT, Luis Perez, a full year of being together. That's going to be a hard task to try and dethrone them from and stop them from repeating.
Yep. Yeah, the journeyman. You can't touch the journeyman. Perez is on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will not hate on that man. I love watching him since the old days too.
Yeah, I've seen him in every league, and for him to be a winner in every league that he's played in, you can just tell that guy has that winning mentality and that leadership mentality. And like I said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to go against him and Bob Stoops for a whole year. We saw it just with him coming in week 7, and even in a loss in week 7, they showed that they're getting better just with him being there, you know, so it's going to be hard. Gabriel says the Renegades are about to repeat.
I hope they do for Arlington's
boy Rasta's here watching on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask Matt in the chat, please feel free to do so.
Now, before we move on, I want to say something about Perez real quick, man.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So we sat in the press conference following the championship, and I mean, this dude is humble as it gets. You will not see a more humble player on that field. And when he talked, he presented himself, like I say, he's just very humble, great guy. But I want to say, I think a lot of his success comes from being in all these leagues. He's really went and picked up the best aspects of each league and team he's been in and coaches he's played for. So, I mean, great stuff, Perez. No, I won't ever hate on you, man. Keep doing your thing. And, yeah, if you win another championship, you won't see me mad about it.
At all. I won't be at all. I could not be mad at Luis Perez at all if he were to win another championship, whether it be in the XFL or the USFL, or even go on to an NFL team and actually, you know, win a championship as well. What were your thoughts about the XFL championship trophy?
I mean, in person, it was nice. I could see on TV how it was a little lackluster. But in person, I mean, I thought it was a nice rendition. Now, I'll tell you, when the championship game, besides getting on the field afterwards, I didn't get much to see the trophy in person, just because they did a presentation the day before. And like I said, I was driving in and having to attend, so I didn't actually get to go to that part of the presentation. But, I mean, make it bigger for sure. But I like the pieces of the divisional championship fit into that. That they all fit together. It was like a puzzle piece almost. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But definitely, I mean, a little more flashy, a little bigger. Could definitely use a little bit of improvements. But for the most part, I mean, it's fitting for an XFL championship, in my opinion.
It is fitting, but I feel that the Oreo bottom is one major thing that needs to. It's like a big Oreo cookie, man. And then it's like they put the North Division Championship, the South Division Championship, threw them together, and the glue is in the middle, and that's the bottom of the championship trophy. It's like a big Oreo. So I think that's one thing that needs to change for me. That's one thing that needs to change. I like the medal football. I like the football and it not being, a full football like every other trophy, you know what I mean? Because the NFL, you got a whole football. Yep. Even the USFL trophy, there's a whole. It's similar to the NFL trophy, so it's a whole football. But the XFL shows you, those missing pieces. It's like they represent that Player 54 motto in everything that they're doing. Like those missing pieces of the football, it's like, hey, it's those players who missed out on an NFL roster. You know what I mean? And the league is full of them. So that's why I felt that they gave us that replication of a football to symbolize not only the league, but the league's players and the journey that they've taken to get to where they are. And I do like that aspect of the trophy. But when it comes down to the rest of it, I think the bottom needs to be redid. Like you said, it needs to be bigger and a lot more flashier. Honestly, it needs to be a lot more flashier. Now, what did you think about the combine?
Now, are we talking about the actual combine or the live stream? What are we talking about here?
All of it.
Got you. So I thought the combine in general, it was really good. I'm glad they did it. Of course, there's room for improvements. There's things that they could do better. But saying that, they gave the fans what they wanted. They interacted. Like you were in on the chat. We had a lot of celebrities, a lot of famous folks popping in, a lot of XFL people popping in. We had a lot of stuff going. They were doing giveaways. The testing, I'll just start with what I think could improve first. The testing, I definitely think they could have given us more evaluation numbers, especially individual data, just simple things like the 40 times or something. Talking to players, what they did was effective, and they did it in a way where these players could do it adequately and not have to kill themselves. So it was good that they did things like this. But then again, not all that information is released. I think we had the top 5 of each category released per skill group. Well, I mean, that's awesome. But that's just the top 5. What about the top 10? What about the top 20? What about, what top 50? Let's see all these numbers. Let's compare these guys. Because come season, say Joe Schmo 2 does better than Joe Schmo 1, and Joe Schmo 1 had all these metrics that were supposed to be better. Like, I want to know that. That's part of that Player 54 story. So I'll say that's something that could have been improved on. Otherwise, I thought it went great. Marketing was fantastic. Fans were engaged. People wanted it.
Yeah.
They could have probably released it a little earlier, put out some media press releases and such. But otherwise, stepping it up for year 2 already. We're seeing constant content be put out, constant stuff be created. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it right now. Time will tell.
Shout out to Josh Sella.
Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely shout out to Josh Sella, man. He's been putting out XFL content on YouTube every single day. He's promoting the XFL on Twitter every single day. You know what I mean? So big shout out to Josh Sella, the new marketing director for the XFL. He's really making a change for the marketing scene on the XFL. And I think that's why a lot of people showed up to the combine. Even celebrities showed up to the combine. Like, we got to talk to football players, guys. Like, we really got to talk to some NFL players that popped in on the YouTube chat. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really live event. The cameraman on day 1, well, day 2 of the combine, but day 1 of the live stream, he was horrible.
I think they were just working through some issues because, as you saw on that second day, I mean, it was much more improved. Yeah, I mean, but they were just
they listened to us. Yep. They listened to what we were saying in chat too, though.
Yep. I've asked
a lot of people were saying, and a lot of people were saying, hey, put the players on and put the interview in the small picture-in-picture box, and the very next day, that's what they did, and we got to see more of the drills and what they were actually doing. And that's one thing that I enjoyed. Did you like, or would you have liked to seen them especially when they did the players interviews, would you have liked to see them put the players, at least their name and their combine number?
Yeah. Definitely wish we could have had some kind of reference there. Just because I was looking for my guys that I've talked to just to see, like, hey, is that them? Is that them? And I didn't know where they were. I could make out face and hair, and otherwise it was hard to really, tell who was who.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely feel like that's more information that could have been released, and that just goes right along with the evaluations, player stories. I mean, I don't know, they may have something planned where they're going to be releasing more as it goes, but just like talking to Spicer and a lot of these guys, I mean, these stories are just as important as their playing and their skills. Knowing where they come from and who they are and what made them this person is what really is what's going to capture the fan engagement and make people appreciate everything a lot more. You're giving a guy like Spicer a chance when nobody else is wanting to, and he goes and shows out for you and does whatever for that team. That's a story worth never forgetting or letting go. So,
exactly. And especially where he came from, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's another guy that we were trying to get interviewed was Joshua Flowers, and just some of these other guys that we've personally been able to talk to. We were trying to get them to interview, and they didn't. It's okay. We're not going to be too upset, but I think what they did, because I was actually in the Markcast yesterday, and I was speaking with Hallie Sandor, and she was telling us, asking us how we liked how the combine was done, especially on the streaming side, and what would we like to see, for the future of the XFL when it comes to streaming certain events. And you already know what the first thing that was said: the drafts, the participants in NFL training camps draft coming up in October, as well as that. I'm hearing that draft will also consist of the IFL to XFL combine participants from the August 4th Indoor Football League to XFL combine that'll be held. So guys, get ready for that. I think they're going to be doing a live stream on that as well. Possibly, we got to wait for them to announce it. Yeah. But we're hoping that they do that. They do show the actual IFL to XFL combine as well. And then you got to look at December, the supplemental draft. And we were telling her that we want it set up like a draft, like an actual draft, because not just the NFL, but the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, the WNBA, they all do their drafts similar. They have a nice setup. They have draft analysts talking about the different players, giving us background and information. And one thing she said was it would be hard to get draft analysts such as Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. We don't want those guys for the XFL. We don't, because Mel Kiper don't know what he's talking about half the damn time anyways. So I'm not a fan of Mel Kiper when it comes to draft analysts, because he'll say, oh, this person's projected to go third, and they end up going second round. You know what I mean? So I was stating to her, hey, get some lower level draft analyst guys who actually pay attention to the talent that's coming into the XFL or here competing to, try and get a spot on an XFL roster, and they know about these guys. Get guys like that. Go get Scooby Mageza and other, get KJ Daniels or KJ Sales, get Sam Acho. Boom. There's your three guys for the commentary. You know what I mean? And then you got your draft analyst. And she was like, well, we did our draft in Las Vegas last year and it was pretty successful. I said, hey, I'm in Vegas. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
Come back and do it again at the Apex. Oh, well, it's going to be more expensive because there's more players, hotel accommodations, this, that, and the third. So what I said to Hallie was, Hallie, I live in Las Vegas. I have a lot of connections in Las Vegas. Contact me and we can find you guys a spot. So I think I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah, bro. Keep doing your thing. Like I said, you'll find your place wherever that may be. And I mean, either way it goes, you're helping. You're throwing out ideas and you're not being negative. So I think you've got all solid ideas and plans. I will say about the draft, I think everybody has an idea of what a draft should be, compared to the NFL, but we are the XFL and we're not going to be the same as the NFL. And even if we have college interns that are presenting these guys and their information, I think that's going to be plenty to satisfy the fans at home as well as the players that are there. They just want to feel like somebody cares, and we do care, but like it's got to be shown in a different way. And so, yeah, XFL, do your thing. You don't have to be the NFL. You're your own individual. You got your own product, and just such as the technology they used in that last combine, that's an example of doing something different and marketing yourself as a new innovative league that has approaches that aren't the same, and you're not just regurgitating the same product over and over again. So either way,
and speaking of that innovative technology, them doing that and streaming that live, now it's got the NFL buzzed. You know what I mean? There's so many articles I've seen in the last couple days about that innovative technology that was displayed at the XFL Combine. So all you guys who are watching that are new on, especially on my Facebook, who are watching that are new, if you guys aren't familiar with the XFL, you need to get with it, because this league is growing. This league is growing, and it's going to, you got to imagine, this is the third time they've tried to have a successful season and go on to a second season. They say third time's a charm. We're getting our first ever second season. So you guys got to pay attention, because what the Denny and Dwayne are doing are listening to us. This is a real league of the fans. This is a real league of opportunity. This is I could say now, what, 35, 36 players have now gotten signed. The NFL doesn't need a developmental league. They have the XFL and the USFL. There is no need for any type of contract or anything to be done agreement-wise for the XFL and the NFL, and for them to say, hey, you're our developmental league. We don't need to do all that.
Agreed.
Okay. With that being said, should the XFL just continue to just try and grow on its own? Don't worry about merging with the USFL or any other type of spring league?
I mean, in my opinion, the identity right now is good. I feel like a lot of our skill is being split between the two leagues, and that's my opinion. I mean, I'm all for the XFL, but I'm not against the USFL in any way, shape, or form.
In no way,
I'm here for both succeed. But a combination approach, not speaking business-wise, just playing-wise, man, that would be nasty. Can you imagine some of these guys playing games together, coordinating some of these offenses and defense, some of these top guys in the USFL, top guys in the XFL? Man, that'd be a different product. So I would say a merger someday, just in terms of players and skill, would be awesome. But the business side, no. The XFL has its identity. It has what it needs to be successful. But like I said, I don't hate on the USFL. I wish all those guys love, success, either way. I mean, I'd cover both if I had time, to be honest with you, but I don't. And I enjoy the XFL much more. So I'm a little biased towards them. But then again, like I said, I think it's good on its own for now, no doubt.
Gotcha. And I feel the same way. I feel the only thing that I feel the XFL needs to do a better job at when it comes to the actual, let's say, game itself is literally the broadcast on TV. You know, that's one thing that the USFL did have over the XFL, in my opinion, this season. And it's just because they use the Fox Sports, for the NFL. They just used all that.
That system's already there.
Yeah. And everything's already there. All they have to do is just put in the graphics and type in the names and everything that they needed. You know what I mean?
They got the professionals there. They got everything ready. The cameraman. I mean, it's an established system. They're just joining the ranks. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, not seeing fans in that stadium or in those stadiums really affect me watching, unfortunately. And
exactly
the fake noise, that kind of stuff. I don't enjoy that. I enjoy the skill in the play, but the theatrics, it's not really for me. I would love to see real fans, real energy, real passion, and they'll get there too. I no doubt. Their hub system kind of impacted them. I think the more they expand, they'll have more success also. I don't want to bash either league. Like I said, I like them both. But, I mean, if I'm going to pick a game to go to, you know what I'm going to pick.
Yep, we're going to the XFL game. That's hands
Yes, sir.
down. I'm sorry to say it. But I would like to attend a USFL game. Now, here on the Gridiron, I do talk about all leagues. I do talk about the XFL, the USFL. I do talk about the NCAA and NFL. So I do cover. That's what the Gridiron is all about.
Gotcha.
Football.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So we do speak of the USFL on this show, and I don't bash them. I just give my constructive criticism.
Yes,
in
sir.
my opinion, going into this third season, you got a head start on the XFL, and I think this is where it's going to hurt the USFL. You have a 1 season head start on the XFL. They're going into their second season. The USFL is going into their third season. With them going into their third season and reverting back to utilizing the hub system instead of continuing on with the plans of finding fields for their actual respective teams, how much of an impact do you think that's going to have on the success of season 3 for the USFL?
They're going to have to bring the heat, no doubt. But everybody, the fandom for each one has its own group of fans. And you'll see, I mean,
right.
You got this and you got that. And I don't think, honestly, on certain aspects, either league could do wrong to chase off those fans. Now,
right.
If we were talking about the XFL 2.0, the Vince McMahon era, that was very successful. And if you talk to a lot of media personalities, a lot of news journalists, anybody, they're gonna preach about the way that league was compared to now. And that just means in terms of community engagement, fan engagement, interactivity, all these things they really had going. If we had that going, I don't know if the USFL would be very successful. That's my opinion. But the product now, like you said, we have a new product. We have a second year in. I think they really do have the opportunity to use that same momentum from then and blast forward. But we'll have to see what happens. That's just my opinion.
Okay. It makes sense. It makes sense. To answer that question on my end, if they don't put fans in the stands, I think it could impact them trying to go into a 4th season.
Oh, yeah.
Because cutting off the idea of getting every team a field. Thank you, Gabe, for popping in. I appreciate the like. Don't forget to like the stream and share the stream. Subscribe if you haven't, guys. But in my opinion, them going into a 4th season and trying to get rid of the hub system, I think it might be too late. I think it might be too late because you look at it like this: of them cutting off the idea of continuing to go forward with getting their teams, a respective field in their cities, to sticking with this hub system. Again, the problem that they had last year is going to be another problem that they have to face again. And it was a problem in the first year, but not as bad because people were anticipating the USFL. But your fans have to travel for games.
Yep.
And that's going to hurt the attendance every time.
The home identity is really needed for you to be a true fan. You really need to be at home. You need to have a house. You need to have somewhere to protect. I mean, that's part of being a fan. So, I mean, that I couldn't agree more on any of that. I'll say, like, for example, the New Orleans Breakers, that is the name, right? Did you have that correct? Now, if they were in New Orleans, I would be there. I would probably be there for every game because that's awesome. Football, any football, give it to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to travel to wherever they were playing to see them.
I think Memphis. I think they had to travel to Memphis.
So I love Memphis, like I told you.
I think they either had to travel to Memphis or Birmingham.
Either way, that's
their home games.
Hundreds of miles from me currently. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to travel that far. But if you were in New Orleans, you could bet that community and we would be there because whole different vibe when it comes to that.
My buddy Gabriel Garcia from the Gridiron Nation podcast, he's a New Orleans Breakers fan. He said, I love the USFL product on the field and presentation, but it won't survive season 3 in the hubs, even if they add 2 more cities.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that they're
looking?
are you thinking that they're looking to add 2 more hub cities instead of just adding the rest of the 4 cities for the teams?
I mean,
have you heard any news on that?
Personally, I don't keep up with it. XFL all the way here because I just don't have time. The stuff I know is from interviews I've heard or listened to as well, or talking to people like James Larson and Christian Palantonio. These are all guys that they know that product and they know it like the back of their hand. But personally, I don't want to speak on it just because I don't want to speculate without actually knowing any kind of facts.
Respect that. I respect that all the way. Now back to the XFL then. So far, with the things that they've done this offseason, the different showcases, the HBCU showcase, the XFL Combine as a whole, having a NFL training camp players cut, and it's so much to say. We'll just call it the NFL training camp and combine participants draft, as well as having an IFL to XFL combine, as well as having another supplemental draft. How do you feel as a whole the offseason for the XFL is going so far? The new hiring of the coaches or of Coach Blevin, the new hiring of different management, how do you feel as a whole that the offseason is going so far, and where do you think it's going to set up the future of the XFL going into next season?
I mean, we're rolling. We're trending on certain aspects, and that's what we really look for. Last year, I'll tell you a lot of what I saw coming in pre 2023 or late 2022. The social media aspects, I mean, they were dead. They were completely dead. There was nothing going on when it came to XFL. There was very little people posting or doing. When you saw the season kick up, or you saw any kind of updates happen, or there was an event, or there was somebody talk, I mean, that's when the interest peaks, and that's when things go crazy, and that's when people really want to know what's going on. So I feel like this year too, so far, they're doing a fantastic job, and it's all positive improvement type press. It's not anything negative. There's no so-and-so beat his wife or something. It's everybody's there, and it's Dr. Anthony Blevins is hired. We're going to have all these drafts and offer all these opportunities for everyone. They're making all these points to actually, if you're a fan, you can hold on to some kind of content and some kind of stuff they're doing and really enjoy it and engage. And that's what I think it's a fantastic thing, what they're doing so far. We could always love more, or we could always get more, but right now, staying active, doing those streams, like you said, popping on shows and talking during the show, that's big, and that's epic, and that's what people want to see. So I really think they're doing a fantastic job. Like I said, compared to last year especially, I'm happy with the result, and I look forward to the success of this product next year. I guarantee it. You're going to have some numbers in those stands. You're going to have tickets sold. You're going to have people watching. It's going to pop up and grow more than what you could ever imagine. And now that they see that the XFL is behind the fans, the players, and the opportunities, it's not just about TV time. It's not just about selling tickets.
Exactly.
It's about all the aspects of that game. And so,
and it's definitely not about the big contracts, guys.
Yep. I mean, these guys are making an average salary. Now, take it need be. They could go play so the guys that just finished, they made 60 grand or so for that season, depending on wins and bonuses and such. But I mean, so they could go play like Abram Smith right now. He could go sign with an NFL team and get $1 million contract. And I mean, he's making that money in both aspects. So it gives them a window right there to be successful, so that I think that's pretty cool.
And actually, Abram Smith just got some invites to some mini camps and training camps. I believe one with the Vikings and with the Raiders. The Bills and the Raiders.
Gotcha.
I know for sure the Bills and the Raiders. So he has an opportunity, to possibly make an NFL roster, especially with Josh Jacobs possibly sitting out for the Raiders, not getting his deal, and the Bills not having a for sure starter over there as a running back.
Mm-hmm.
He has an opportunity now to come in there and showcase his skills. So that's definitely going to be a good thing for him. As far as the 2024 season is concerned, where do you see your Houston Roughnecks with the changes that they've made so far this offseason, the rights to some players that they may possibly have signed to the roster? Where do you see the Houston Roughnecks possibly landing next year? You see them going back to the South Division Championship and having a different outcome?
Oh, yeah. We're looking for big things for the Roughnecks next year. We got Coach Wade. He's ready to go, and he's ready to rock. So I'm super excited for the changes that may happen or will happen down the road. I mean, we still have a lot of returners coming back. Guys like Trent Harris, Bryce Noline, Brandon Silvers. Those are all names that are big in terms of experience. You add a couple more of these guys that have skills and have a resume to that roster, you're going to see some shining stars approach. I mean, that's just my opinion. Only thing I'll say, I'm kind of disappointed. I miss old Nick Holly. Nick's my guy. I wish he was still around Houston. But
I know.
Yeah, he's my guy.
Nick is a good guy. He's not only a good soul, but he's a good player. And he deserved this chance. He definitely deserved this chance, man. So I can't wait to see what he does in the future as well. And good luck to him. But record-wise, what do you guys see in yourselves in the regular season record?
So we're going to play each team twice, right? And then what happens? So we're going to be looking, I'm going to give us a good 8-2, 7-3, something like that. I mean, we're going to be fine.
Okay. I like it in you.
I'm confident. I'm confident in our coaches. We have some great coaches, man. I mean, check out some of the resumes of these guys, and that's what disappointed me the most about last year's. I know there was a billion things that we could have done different, and we kept running the same type of stuff. So hopefully we see some improvements there. But regardless, I'm a fan, and I appreciate what the Roughnecks offer. And I mean, prior to last year, the Roughnecks were all about that championship mentality. So we definitely got to get back on that fruition and grind it out and get that championship back again. We don't have PJ Walker to do everything for us anymore. We got to do some work. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to my team. Regardless, like I said, XFL all the way. I don't care who wins it. I don't care what happens. I just want to be there and be a part of it and share that energy, conversations, the positivity. That's really what I want to see. So. But yeah, my guys, they're coming to kill it next year. Hopefully, especially with that news,
Definitely. And if you guys get Tavon Austin, I will be a little nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. You guys get Tavon Austin, I'll be a little nervous because that's gonna be huge for Brandon Silvers and Cole McDonald's. And like you said, that connection that Silvers had with Javante Kirkland, even Cole McDonald, when he was on the field, him and Kirkland had somewhat of that connectivity as well, and you started to see it mesh well. If Cole needed to get out of the pocket and move upfield, you see Kirkland right there trying to set a block for him, and give him that space he needed to break that run and pick up those yards that they're looking to pick up on that play that may have been broken. You know what I mean? So just the connection that the quarterbacks and wide receivers have on you guys' team is kind of scary, man. I can't even lie. It's kind of scary, but it's also good because it just shows that the talent that the XFL is bringing in as a whole is good talent, and these guys are getting a chance to really flourish. The people who didn't get their opportunity in the league in the first place, they're now getting the opportunity to, not only better their skills, but now have a better opportunity of getting back into the NFL, or for those guys who aren't looking to go to the NFL anymore and they're looking to be a star in the league, this gives them an opportunity to be a star in the XFL and be a face of the franchise, which I think a lot of players are looking at, AJ McCarron as being the face of the franchise right now, or the face of the league right now. And I kind of agree. Do you feel AJ McCarron right now could be basically the face of the XFL right now?
Oh yeah, no doubt. But there's many other stories that we could talk about, and hopefully that's what I'm saying. I hope they really get down to the nitty gritty of some of these guys and discuss where they came from, what they had to go through to get there. So I mean, I agree with you, AJ McCarron, top-notch player, top-notch person, athlete, family man. I mean, he's got it going on, and he is the face of in terms of the player 54 right now. But that can be spread amongst any athletes. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, multiple guys, man, they've all got stories. They're all coming from hardships. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of them. And whether it be, they struggled academically or they struggled to eat, these are all things that we need to know in order to understand how that mentality of that man is the way it is. And wow, he had to push through the grind to get to where he is. So
exactly.
I look forward to hearing more stories personally. I told you that's the most enjoyable thing so far. It's just this player development in terms of life and football. And so that's, go McCarron, you're killing it, bro. But there's room for others as well.
There definitely is. And I feel that there's going to be a lot of shining stars in the 2024 season who's going to be looking to have their face be classified as the face of the actual XFL, or even just the face of their franchise in the XFL. You know what I mean? So
yes,
I definitely agree with you on that. There are a lot of guys with a lot of talent in the XFL. There are a lot of guys who, like you said, their story, where they came from, their background on how they got to where they are, just shows, that their story needs to be told too. They've come from somewhere too. You know what I mean? And I feel, like you said, those stories need to be told. So I feel in the draft, they should try and do that. They should try and give us some type of background on these guys, and actually, let us know who's coming to our teams and what we can expect from these players. And like you said, through the mentality aspect of what they've had to go through to get to this moment in their life. You know what I mean? And speaking of a player like that, we were talking about Jeremiah Spicer, who we both have spoken with and interviewed. He actually has a Netflix story coming out. He has a Netflix special coming out about a story. You know what I mean? So that's also something to look out for, guys. Jeremiah Spicer, he's one of those football players who made it to the NFL, ended up getting cut. And then he went around a bunch of different spring leagues, and he's just been a force in a bunch of different spring leagues. But where he came from is such a touching story, man. It really is. And there's a Netflix special coming out, so you guys be ready for that. He's been posting that, and I've been following along on how it's doing too. So it's almost done, guys. So get ready for that.
I'm excited.
Now, if you guys want to go on, I am too, bro. I really am. I saw some of the taping. He sent me a photo and some clips of him getting recorded, doing the documentary, and it was pretty dope, man. But if you guys are looking to follow the XFL podcast, his links are at the bottom. Go ahead, Matthew.
I was going to say, did you ever watch the Last Chance U?
Yes.
So I did. We saw like Chauncey Rivers. Are you familiar with him? I shared a picture with you from before a game. I don't know. Maybe you could pull it up, dude. I sat and observed him on the field before a game, probably week 5, week 6, something like that. And I mean, humble man, sat praying in the end zone for 10 minutes, 15 minutes prior to the game. He was doing the same thing. That's the kind of stories we want as fans. That's what we want to know. Yeah, there we go. That's much respect for those guys, and those stories really are popular. I mean, if you haven't, guys at home, or even you, Jersey, if you haven't watched The Last Chance U on Netflix, check it out ASAP. This is the stories and the Player 54 stuff that we are talking about right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
These same guys, they've had to hustle, bro, and much respect to every single one of them as they go. The JUCO guys are like none other, and I have much respect for them.
Yeah.
Kill it.
I love
because that's what we want to see.
And even the HBCU cats, those guys have a story as well too, and their story is a little bit different as well, because there's a lot of discrimination, and it's not because of the color of their skin; it's because of the university they attend, and that's the worst part. It's just something that should be changed. You know what I mean? And I applaud the XFL. I really, really applaud the XFL for actually holding an entire showcase for HBCU football players and giving them an opportunity to showcase their skills, man. I really applaud the XFL for that. I gotta.
I agree
we gotta applaud them because that was
fantastic.
touching. You know what I mean? That was touching for those boys, for them to know that some league out there cares about their talent. You know what I mean? And they didn't just go to school to play football and do everything they could to try and get to the NFL just to not even get looked at, just to not even get a chance in the draft. And for the for the XFL and even the USFL to actually look at the talent in the HBCU universities, it's just an amazing thing, man. And I applaud these guys for doing that because those boys really need a chance as well. You know what I mean? If Division 1 Division 2, Division 3, JUCO college kids are getting opportunities, these HBCU kids need to get opportunities as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm super excited about that too. It's just another window that they open up for more. And the stereotypes behind HBCU schools is ridiculous. And that's what I've had discussions online about it with people that, isn't that racist? No, it's not racist. It's American history. It's heritage. It's these guys and the contributions that they provided academically and athletically are like none other in our society. And people need to understand that this is HBCU is pristine. It's not anything bad or negative. It is pristine. And if not, they have different experiences, but they're just as important, if not more important, because it opens your eyes to how things are. So like you said, it's great that they get some time to shine. It's great that they're shaking off some of these old stereotypes. I mean, it's great, XFL, and you did a really, really good job. And like you said, man, it's touching. There's not much else you can say about it.
It really is. It really is, because these guys really get a chance, like a real chance to actually show off the talent that they have, and when these NFL teams are looking at them, they're like, he's not the next Tyreek Hill, or he's not the next Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey or the next Patrick Mahomes. They shouldn't have to be.
Yep.
And that's one thing I just despise about the NFL. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you give kids chances and then more times you don't. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I just feel that these kids getting a chance, they're going to show out in the XFL. They're really going to show out in the XFL. How was your experience at the championship game? I meant to ask you this earlier. How was your experience actually being at the XFL championship game?
Oh, man, it was probably the best time of my life, to be honest with you. Attended a lot of events, coached a lot of games, played in a lot of games, and done a lot of different things athletically. But that was probably one of the most fantastic experiences I could ever had. I had credentials, but I couldn't walk the field and such. So that was disappointed in that. But sat up in the box, talking to all these personalities, media, celebrities, people that we know. And it was a fantastic experience, man. I mean, stuff you can never forget. And it's really what motivates me today to keep going forward and work hard.
And that's actually you at the championship game, correct?
Yeah, that's me. I think, that's me. I have so many videos, bro. I didn't know what to exactly send you. I got a picture too that I took before I was walking out. But yeah, I got sent you a picture also with Anthony Miller. I sat up by Anthony Miller during the game and we talked, and I got to hear his insight the whole time. And man, dude, I tell you that it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I mean, hands down.
Wow.
It really was a accumulation of
Anthony Miller.
Yeah, that's Anthony Miller there, and that's actually in the press box. The press box in San Antonio is awesome because it's actually in the stadium. You'll see a lot of the press boxes. They're up high. You're looking down on the fans. You're in the stadium. There's a little window, and then you can hear and see everything going on. So, bro, it was a fantastic experience there. San Antonio is a beautiful city.
Cool.
Had a great
I used to live there.
I've never been there before, so it was awesome.
I actually lived there for a year. And I've been to the Alamo Dome. I actually practiced in the Alamo Dome when I went to high school. I went to John Jay High School for a year. in 2003, back in my high school days. And I got to actually go practice at the Alamo Dome. And it was actually pretty fun because we actually got to we didn't get a chance to meet the players, but we actually pulled up to the practice for our practice as soon as the Dallas Cowboys were leaving. Like everybody was getting on the bus going back, to Arlington after their practice. So we didn't get the chance to meet the guys, but they did yell out the bus, and scream and holler at us and say, hey, good luck for practice and good luck for the game this weekend. So it was a pretty fun experience back then. And me being a Cowboys fan, that was awesome for me. So yeah, San Antonio is a beautiful city. It really, really is. And for those fans there to fill up that stadium as much as they did this season, it just goes to show how much the XFL has an impact when it comes to these cities that need a football team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you can make it to St. Louis next season, I suggest you do. I posted a picture or a video on my Twitter the other day, or last night, actually. It was the very first game there, and it was wild. It was loud, and it was nothing like I expected walking in, bro. I mean, every seat filled, everybody engaged. It was awesome.
They said it was all the way sold out.
Yep, and you should, like I said, next year plan a trip. Definitely go and experience that St. Louis atmosphere, because so far, just speaking frankly, I mean, it's nothing can compare besides New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. Now that's a whole nother ball game, but yeah, man, dude.
I mean, even the Audi Stadium experience is probably not as good as the St. Louis Battle Dome experience.
I don't know. I had to experience for myself to really preach on it, but I'll say I've heard that soccer stadium feel is very intense, especially when you're playing. Everybody's super close. Everybody's really loud, and that's why you're getting hit with lemons, is because it's accessible. Yeah. It's right there. The Battlehawks in general, though, they came with a fire and a fury, and that's what attracted me to them when the XFL started that second time around. Like guys like Dirty in Arlington. I mean, I was literally watching them back then, just being a fan and enjoying the experience. And they got me to St. Louis. I mean, I looked through my messages. You can see where I was calling and talking to them back then, trying to just hook up with them and meet up at events and just hang out. And so, I mean, it's a whole nother world that way. And like I said, try to stop in if you can, because you'll never experience anything like that.
I plan on going to the Vegas and St. Louis game.
There we go.
We play them in St. Louis.
Be a good one, bro.
I plan to do that. I plan to actually travel to the St. Louis game for sure. That's one stadium I do want to go to for a game. I do want to go to the Alamo Dome. I want to go back to the Alamo Dome for San Antonio Brahmas game as well. So I'm going to try to get some traveling done this upcoming season. Hopefully my arm is doing a little bit better and I'll be able to do so. So that's really been my only challenge as far as like traveling, but we'll see how everything goes. But I do want to come down to St. Louis and definitely meet Arlington and Dirty and the whole B-Hawk Live crew. I'm actually going to have Daddy Ed and Amanda on this Thursday, Fang Gang show at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So they'll be on this coming Thursday on the Fang Gang Nation show. And just meeting with everybody is one thing I do want to do. I want to go down and meet the Horns Forward crew down at San Antonio. I want to go meet the Rough 'em Up crew down in Houston. So I may be taking some trips next year for the games and really getting my name out there, getting the Fang Gang Nation show out there, and really getting that XFL Vipers feel all over the country. Somebody's got to be a super fan. So you know what I mean? Why not I be not only the team's super fan, but also the team's voice, you know what I mean? And try and get us some more fans out there, man.
I get it, man. I'll tell you. What'd you say? Go ahead.
I said it's worth a shot.
You'll get there. And I'll tell you, man, You really have to experience the games as a fan and media. They're two separate entities. It's really hard to harness the energies and the experience of both at the same time. I tried it the first game and it was hard. I brought my girlfriend. We had actual seats. I had access to the press box, so I did go in the press box. But I mean, trying to go back and forth was almost impossible. But like, definitely experience every aspect of it when you do go. And then same thing for the guys listening at home or girls. If you go to a game, I mean, and get that fan experience, go to the tailgates and reach out to any of these representatives, unofficial representatives of the league, and get that knowledge to know where you need to go to have the good time and be around the fans that you want to experience. But like I said, Jersey, you come in as media, man. It's professional. You're gonna see a whole nother side of things that it opened my eyes. Like I said, and I've been in athletics my whole life, but it opened my eyes to things that it changed a lot. And professionally, I'm glad I had the skills I had that I could utilize, because I mean, my first game coming in, I had my Roughnecks gear on, I had my blue jeans, I had my, I was ready to go, and I get up in the press box and I'm just like, oh, we're dressed nice. We're presentable. Oh, so I mean, I took my hat off and then put my jacket on and presented it. But I mean, it's a whole different ball game, and I know that you are going to enjoy each aspect, and I can't wait to hear your experience and see what you think about everything.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like I said, I'm looking to go to every home game for the Vipers for sure.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna try and attend every away game as well, as many as I can. Just with the flights and just traveling in general. But I want to get that experience. You know what I mean? I went to a home game last year and it wasn't a bad experience. It really, really wasn't. A lot of people bash Cashman Field and
I heard they
talk so bad on it. You know what I mean? Yep. But when you're actually in the stadium, when you're actually at Cashman, the seats are comfortable. I can actually say that, and it's got a lot of space. They just need to renovate it to where there's more space.
Yep.
There's more things going on as far as, more seating, an actual booth for, the offensive coordinators and those guys. They don't have to be on the sideline. They can actually be in a booth. You know what I mean? The commentators from ESPN will actually be in a booth. They don't have to just make some makeshift booth up for them and hope that these guys don't collapse in the middle of the presentation.
Wind blowing, blowing them off.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I feel that they just need to improve on with Cashman. But other than that, the Viper Pit is going to be lit next season, and I'm going to make sure of it. I'm going to be there
for that, dude.
And I'm hoping that the renovations that are going to be supposed to be made this offseason really affects, in a positive way, affects how the fans look at the team now, affects how the city looks at the team, and actually gets them to start backing the team and supporting the team. Hell, even if I got to go to the TV channels myself, even if I got to go to the local news stations myself and get in contact with the sports guys there myself, I will do so, because I know that's another aspect of helping the league grow and helping the league get recognized. So that's another plan of mine. Big question. Everybody's wondering. 8-1.
Oh, I think we're just looking at a schedule release, more or less, as well as putting a date available for tickets to purchase. Now, I may be wrong, but we're not looking at expansion already, guys. It's too early, and we lost money last year, most importantly. So they're going to have to recoup some of their cash before they just expand more, first off.
Right.
But yeah, I believe that we're probably looking at the schedule release and maybe a ticket purchase date. I don't think the tickets will be available for purchase per se, but I think they'll make a date that they will be. I mean, coming in last year, like I said, if I remember correctly, you could buy season tickets a couple months prior to most games except Vegas, if I remember correctly. And then, but single game tickets, you couldn't purchase them. You couldn't buy them. You had to wait a month before the game started to get your tickets because the schedule wasn't complete. So I think they're really putting in the puzzle pieces now to make that a success and get the ticket sales driving 6 months before the game start instead of 6 weeks before the game start, so that's how I feel about it.
Get the tickets on sale now, so that way more fans are ready to, get involved and purchase tickets early for the games. I get that.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, XFL Combine prospect and invitee and participant Lakobe Tucker was in the X Fan show yesterday, and he kept winking at the. Now we know expansion's not coming anytime soon. We both know this as insiders for the XFL, knowing the information that we do know about the XFL and what's going on and all this other stuff. We know that if expansion were to come, it'll be in the 2025 season. We all know that. Lakobe keeps hinting at the LA Wildcats and an expansion in 8-1. Like, I could see an announcement being made. Just hear me out.
Go ahead.
I could see an announcement being made saying, hey, in 2025, this team and that team will be coming back to the XFL or joining the XFL as an expansion team. I could see that. Do you feel the same way? Could you see that being a possibility of a somewhat announcement on 8-1 and be part of the announcement, not the full bombshell, but because they're trying to make this announcement, they're trying to make it seem like 8-1 is just going to be some huge bombshell worth of an announcement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that 1 to 2? Well, they have to do 2. They can't just add one.
I was about to say, yeah, I was going to add that.
You think 2 expansion teams could be announced as a possibility of coming in 2025, and that be part of the 8-1 announcement? Because there's players and not so much personnel or coaches, but a lot of XFL players are winking at this whole LA Wildcats and maybe a possible San Diego team.
That'd be nice. The 2 successful places. People didn't like LA, but I thought LA is a great spot, especially when you want to get the word out. So, but yeah, man, there may be a chance. I feel like they're not going to put all their eggs in one basket. Personally, though, I mean, they're going to build on hype and excitement, and they're gonna put out news, but they're not just going to throw a trash bag load of stuff at us at one time. I feel like it's going to be, spaced out and done adequately. Now, do I work there? No. Do I know the information truly? No. All I look at is articles, opinions, other people, writers, journalists, in the business aspect of, hey, they've got to make money. Exactly. But I'll tell you this personally, if they do release those, I really hope that the infrastructure, such as where they're playing, who possible coaches might be, and stuff like that will be released also. Because if they don't release that info and they just say, hey, we got 2 teams coming, we don't know when, maybe 2025, I feel like that's going to shoot them in the foot a little bit. Almost like the Vegas situation. People don't want to wonder. They want to know what's going on. They don't want to wonder. Well, and they don't want to talk about where San Diego going to play at for 6 months or to a year while they discuss it. That's stuff that we got to know to make sure and know that it's a serious game and we are going to be serious in implementing these new teams. So, my opinion, I mean, it could be possible if players and people are saying it. I mean, it's a possibility like anything else. But I'll tell you personally, if you really want to know what's going on, do some research. And not you, Jersey, but fans at home. Do some research on your end. You can look up trademarks. You can look up information. There's a lot of things that are public information that if you do legwork, you can find out and gather your own opinions. But much like the internet, we can come up with any opinion we want and Google and find whatever we want to back those opinions up also. So make sure the research you're doing is quality and make sure the information you have is quality and you're not just getting regurgitated stuff that's already been said 100 times in a different form.
Exactly. That's absolutely correct because there's a lot of fake news out there, or we can't call all of it fake news. It's just informed information.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because
people get excited and they just start doing work. And it's just like me and
exactly.
you. We do the same thing. We just have more time to sit on it. I post a lot on socials and I'm really active, but most of my stuff is retweeting information or taking pictures to present that information. I try to keep my personal stuff and my opinions in the background so that people can really gather their own beliefs and thoughts on these subjects. And so that's it. And you're right 100%. I mean, but like I said, man, it's possible and it could happen. And if it does, awesome. I'm going to support it too. Let's just hope that it's set up correctly and ready to rock. That's my biggest thing.
Like you said, announcing 2 teams and then not giving us a coach, not giving us a possible update on information. Even if they were to, I'd be okay with them saying, hey, we're going to be bringing back, let's just say, for instance, because San Diego's just a hypothesis. And it's just people just putting out what could be possible. I'm not going for this. I'm not saying, hey, this is going to happen or that's going to happen. It's a hope that in 2025 we get 2 expansion teams. As a fan, you know what I mean? It's a hope. It's a wish. We may be able to pull it off. But if they were to announce something like this for the future, like you said, it has to be done correctly. And even if they were to say, hey, in 2025, we're bringing back the LA Wildcats, but we're also going to bring a second California team in and put them in San Diego. Right now, we're working on getting a location for these teams to play, and we're in the process of talking with different head coaches for the potential job. I'm fine with that.
That's what I mean, and that's 100%. I mean,
perfectly fine with that.
A plan of action, and then you're telling us some of the details. I mean, that perfectly cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'd be okay with that.
Like the Vegas situation, I mean, that was really uncomfortable knowing that there was a game being played and the whole season being played, and we didn't know where. We had no idea what was going on. That made me worried for the league coming in. I mean, to be honest with you, that was a big red flag for me. They worked it out and they got it worked out. They did everything they could to make it happen. And like, I don't hate on it too much. I mean, you saw that first game. I mean, the field conditions were awful. Afterwards, terrible. Improved. We were fine, but that first game,
week after week.
I mean, that first game, you saw like people slipping on pieces of turf or grass, whatever it was. I'm not sure.
The rain game.
That's what I'm talking about. Worst. This Jordan Ta'amu, if I remember correct. I remember watching him fall. I mean, the field goals couldn't be kicked because the kicker's sliding out from the grass.
Yeah.
They fixed that stuff, though, and they did improve. So, I mean, I can't hate on them for that, but
you definitely can't. And I think that the changes that they're making in the offseason for the Cashman Field is going to be beneficial to next season as well. It's going to be even a lot better. Like I said, I just hope that they do the correct renovations for not only the field, but the venue itself, because, it'll just be more appeasing to the fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If they renovate it to where it says home of the Vegas Vipers, welcome to the Viper Pit, home of the Vegas Vipers. And then, of course, the Las Vegas Lights play there as well. You know what I mean? Welcome to, welcome to this arena. Make it look more presentable to the fans. So that way the fans are like, hey, what the hell's going on here? Exactly. There's a lot of noise going on here.
Exactly.
These people are driving past and they're like, well, what's going on? Oh, it's the XFL Vegas Vipers game. Oh, really? And it's loud like this? Oh, well, let me come in and see what it's all about. How much are their tickets? Oh, well, it's game time. So here, it's a $5 ticket now. Really? Okay, let me join.
Yeah.
And now people are going to start popping in. And the next thing you know, they'll have tickets for the next game before the game instead of, coming in halftime just because they heard all that noise and they're wondering what the hell's going on. And they see, oh, the Vegas Vipers is a professional football team in the XFL. Now Vegas has 2 football teams. Awesome. So I'm going to personally root for every single team in this league to not only succeed, but to have that fan base.
Yes, sir. I was just going to say that. Yep.
Because that fan base is so important, especially with the type of league that we are, and especially with our league heads saying, this league is about the fans. This league is about what the fans want. This league is about that misunderstood player who didn't get the opportunity. So if that's the case, listen to your fans and give us what we want, which is fan engagement. And going to podcasters like myself and yourself and the B-Hawk Live guys and the X-Fan Show guys and Rough 'em Up and everybody, and have us be the voice of your teams. Have us be the voice of your league so that we can bring in the fan engagement. Just imagine that. What are your feelings about that? I've brought this up in a couple podcast shows recently. How would you feel, or do you feel that the XFL should reach out to us, to podcasters like us, to help bring that trust back from those fans who lost trust in our league, and just to bring in new fans and new people to the XFL itself?
You know, to be honest with you, coming in, like I said, I started this as the podcast, the XFL Insider Podcast. I wasn't with a news group. I wasn't with anybody. And I had no traction coming in. I could not get people to answer me. I could not get calls back and nothing. When I switched over and started being represented by Ambush and covering for Ambush, all that changed. My credentials were approved. I had direct communications. I get press releases. There's a lot of things that changed. So saying that, now you got to understand that this stuff we're doing right now, this live streaming, it's not new to us, but to most people, it's still a new thing. This popularity is going to grow as time goes on, and people are going to love this kind of informal discussion type interactivity. But I think really the XFL is just they want to know who they can trust, and they want to make sure that what we're saying actually represents them in terms of their league, and that we're not out here clout chasing or trying to make a bunch of money or selling events to make cash off of their name. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot of different factors and aspects in that to say that, but man, I would love to be implemented. I would love to be included in some of these conversations as my podcast. I've reached out, and like you said, this is a hard lesson I've learned is you don't reach out to these people in the XFL and get interviews. You know why? Because the XFL has to approve those interviews. So even if you do go talk to Dr. Blevins, if you message him on Twitter and he says, yeah, I'll interview with you. Guess what? If you didn't get approval from the XFL, they'll shut it down. It's happened to me before. More recently with Dave Bowler with the DPP for St. Louis Battlehawks. Huge interview. Super excited about that. I was going to get him on and just ask more about players, the combines, and the showcase. All that's good stuff, but it got shut down. That was on me as a media aspect. That was on my end because I didn't know that there was a procedure to properly speak to these guys. I thought we were just trying to talk, you know. I thought it was just discussions, but no, you have to do this correctly, and you have to be established. You have to have some credentials. You got to have a resume. There's all these things. So what, like I'm saying, I love that, but I think really they're going to have to, they're waiting, they're watching. They want to see what people like you and me do, what the X-Fan Show does, the Marcast. They're not just going to willy-nilly, you know, agree to jump on board with us until we show that we're jumped on board with them, and we're not doing it.
And that just bringing something to the table.
Exactly. So I do feel you, and I understand. And being a podcaster on this end, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, holler at me. I got you. Whatever you need, XFL. But at the same time, I see it from a fan standpoint a business standpoint, I'm sorry, that they've got to do things to protect their image, their property, their game. You know, one wrong story from me or you, it may not be anything until it is something. And then it's a news talking point that that they're bashing on the XFL for something we said because we're representing them. So need be, like I said, I think it's just complicated in that terms. I think with the added addition to Josh, we're going to see more of our style type of stuff come up. In ESPN, for example, I mean, you could see how they've gotten rid of a lot of their personalities. And I foresee a lot more of these type shows, which there already are, coming through and taking place. I mean, you can tell if you watch ESPN, they're using the same software me and you use for our shows. They're doing the exact same stuff, brother. I mean, the only difference is we're not professionals trying to make money. We're here to do it for the love. So, I mean, like I said, I'd love to see it. I'd love to be more involved. But if you can't do it from that podcast level, do like I did. Take a step, look at your avenues, look at what you can offer, and reach out through different windows. And it worked. They knew I had a podcast, and they knew that I did the podcast weekly about the XFL. Now, that had nothing to do with my coverage with Ambush Sports. Those are two different separate things. So just keep that in mind going into your future. Either way, I mean, XFL, I got you. We got you. Just let us know.
We got you.
Yeah.
We got you, XFL.
You keep putting out content. You keep getting engaged. Be positive. Don't make them look bad. I guarantee you they're going to have more respect and know what you bring to the table. Now, I'll tell you, back last year, like February, March, my Facebook was popping, man. I mean, I had engagements. Now, we weren't getting a whole lot of follows and likes, but engagements. And that means people saw my posts and interacted with them. I was getting anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million or more in engagements a day. And that's for a month or two. And so that's huge. And I got a picture of that. Let's see if I can send it to you on Twitter real quick. That's for a month or two, bro. I mean, that was every day. And I've reached out to numerous windows within the XFL, just being like, hey, this is what has been happening. I really have a lot to offer, and I haven't heard anything. So, I mean, I get it. But then again, I get it on their end too, because they don't want us to make their product look bad. Let me see.
And I completely get that. I completely get that. And now that I get a different perspective from someone, and I basically get an answer to that question, it gives me a different outlook on how I would have looked at it as well. You know what I mean? And I completely understand what you're coming from, or where you're coming from with that, because again, they got to protect their brand. They got to protect their image. They got to protect the league itself. And they can't have anyone out representing them as a media personality or a journalist or a video caster or whoever, or sportscaster, whatever the case may be. They can't have us out here representing them in a negative way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
My mother-in-law's watching. Hey, Mom.
Hey, how you doing, mother-in-law? How's it going? I love when we're getting on here and the family pops in, or fans.
I know, I love it.
It's the best part about it, bro.
They're really starting to get involved, and it's awesome, man. I've been grinding for a while to get my viewers to where I wanted to be, and I had to realize in this game, it's kind of like video game streaming. You just have to let the viewers come organically. You know what I mean? So just being out there, like you said, getting my name out there, keep putting out more posts, and having everybody engage with me that way, I think it's going to help me grow. And interacting with guys like you, Pat Ruffino, because I just actually hooked up with Pat now too. I've been talking with Pat, and then actually have Pat on the show.
Oh, dude, I'm jealous. I wanted to talk to him so bad. Pat, if you hear that, message me, bro. I can't message you on Twitter, so message me, bro. Look forward to it.
Message me on Twitter.
That's awesome.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I'll let you know where to go. Pat, I'm not going to give your information out, but
don't do it on air.
I am going to give your information.
Check out your Twitter real quick, bro. I sent you that picture. Check that out. That's funny.
Oh, right, wow. And then that's in.
So that's just. I think that's week 1. I've got so many pictures. That's week 1. So you can check that out, and it continued to grow. You can see at this point my followers are only 775. So I mean, right now I think I've got like 1,700. Nothing fancy, but the impressions and engagement will constantly rise. And like I said, I've seen the engagement point where it was 500,000, 1 mil easily a lot of times. So
that's numbers.
Just know, bro. I mean, you got a voice, and you got a way to reach people, even if it doesn't appear that you still are, and you make a difference. And so I just keep doing what you do,
really
man.
Appreciate that, man.
That's
I
motivation.
Really appreciate that.
Yep.
Because it does. It's motivating me to just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing something right.
Yep.
Like I had Scooby Mageza, the host of XFL Today, on the show. That was my first guest ever.
That's awesome.
On a show. Well, my first appointment for a guest. And then I ended up having A-Train and Dirty on, and they actually ended up being my first guest. But when it came to like, somebody famous or, somebody with the name that's on the ESPN platform, it was like, dude, really? Because he was so cool about it. That's the crazy thing. I just hit him up out of nowhere. I hit him up out of nowhere, and I'm just like, hey, you want to come on my show for an interview? I'd love to interview you, bro. I'm like, because he knew who I was. I was the biggest supporter of the XFL Today YouTube chat. When that show came on every week, I was in the chat. So when I said who I was, I'm like, hey, it's Royalty Gamers and Podcasts from YouTube, because that's what my YouTube channel name used to be. And he's like, really? What's up, man? How's it going? And I'm like, you remember me? He's like, dude, your name was in the chat every single week. He's like, there's clips of me saying your name from the chat on the show. And then I went back and watched the episodes of the show, and there's really clips of him saying my name. So I went and actually made some clips of that and posted it. But, to have him on the show as a second guest overall, it was super cool. It's like, I got an ESPN host that was just so down to earth and so nonchalant. And it's just like, bro, where did this come from? You know what I mean? Like, you're just one of the nicest people. Gridiron Nation, my boy Gabe said, I shared a post the other day that said, keep promoting yourself. Even if you get 0 likes, somebody's seen it.
For sure.
And that's definitely 100% true, man. No matter what you post, eventually somebody's going to see it and somebody's going to share it.
Yep.
And I think that the more I just keep pushing, the more I keep interacting with you guys from all aspects of this XFL community, if I just keep engaging and promoting myself, you know what I mean? And not only promoting myself, but promoting you guys as well, because the more I retweet your information, the more my people see it. That helps bring viewers to you, and the whole nine. And again, guys, if you guys want to follow the XFL Insider Podcast Show, the links are right there at the bottom, at the ticker, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You guys can go and check out the XFL Podcast Show, the XFL Insider Podcast Show, and check out Matthew Tyler and the different guests that he has on, man. He's a great podcaster. He's a great XFL media personality, and he's done this. You guys have seen it. I've showed you the pictures. He's done this. He's actually been to these games. He's actually got that press pass to say, hey, I can go on the field and go and talk to Luis Perez. I can go on the field and go and talk to Coach Buckley. I can go on the field and just have that access. So you guys definitely go check out the XFL Insider Podcast. Go follow him on Twitter. Go follow him on Facebook. And make sure you guys go and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on all the episodes. Oh, for sure, man. Also, anywhere else that you'd like to have anyone follow the XFL Insider Podcast, or for your audio broadcasts, are you doing them just now on YouTube again?
No. Everything is put out on every network. So, I mean, any major podcast network, you should find the podcast audio versions. Like I said, we started in season. That was the XFL Insider Podcast. Now the show has evolved into the XFL Insider Podcast Live. So they are two different products, two different offerings. But really, I mean, any Spotify, Google, Amazon, I mean, it should be everywhere possible. 8 to 10 different main podcasting networks. Like I said, that's just the audio. YouTube, you can find everything and more. You just kind of got to look. I've kind of tried to put everything in the featured section, but I just started working that YouTube a couple weeks ago. I really didn't care about it too much initially. Now it should be beautifully set up, but I was really more about Facebook and Twitter. I have an Instagram also, but I don't really have much going with it. I've tried to post pictures from the season. I mean, I took thousands of pictures, dude, when I went. I got a nice camera, got some really good shots of different things, but due to the podcast and due to the traveling and due to life, I had no time to work with the photography aspect. So trying to update the Instagram. There's not much going on it right now because Instagram only lets you post so many pictures at a time. So like it'll do like 100 a day, and that's all you can post. So I update it when I can, but working through there. But yeah, man, appreciate you having me. Follow me on anything, guys. If you need something, you want to reach out, you got a question, you want to see a collaboration, like I'll hop on Jersey Show anytime. Great company. Appreciate you, Jersey. Now I'll say, before we hop off or whatever, I just want to, Dr. Jen Welter from, you know who she is?
Yes.
So, I found her on Twitter the other day, and I was looking through her stuff, and it goes into what you were saying, man. She has a tweet she shared: collaboration or competition, choose wisely. It goes into what you say, though. I mean, if we want this to be successful, XFL in general, we all got to work together, whether it's a low-level podcaster or a ESPN announcer. I mean, those are all aspects and things that need to be covered. So work with everyone, talk with everyone, keep doing what you do in Jersey, keep collaborating. That's the best thing I've found so far, making these connections. And once people see you're showing up, you're consistent, you're going, they're going to keep following you, bro. And you're going to get more respect. When I first come in, I feel like I had zero respect, bro. But now it's a lot different. So
yeah, it definitely
keep up your attitude, man. Keep
your
up your
name
work.
is out there. Your name is
appreciate
definitely
that.
out there.
Appreciate that, brother. And I look forward to the future and what you offer the sport and the league. And heck, man, if we ever get into anything else, I mean, heck, it may get you on for, like, considering doing like a fantasy football show, may get you on for something like that sometime. Everything here is going to open up new windows and doors. So keep that in mind.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, bro. And thanks for having me on.
I'm ready for any of it. I'm ready for any of it. Anytime you're ever wanting to do anything with me, just contact me, and I'll do it. It does not matter. I will find the time to do it, because I feel the more I get my name, myself out there, and the product that I'm trying to present to any audience, I need to collaborate and connect with any and everybody, especially within this XFL community. So I'm down to collaborate with anybody that's in the XFL community doing some positive work. And I'm honored to have you on today. You took 2 hours out of your day to be here with me,
Good times, man.
And even though I messed up on the flyer, guys,
hey, it's all good, bro.
I put the wrong time. I put it at 10 p.m. or 2 p.m. instead of 10 a.m. I do apologize on that, guys, but it was an awesome interview from Matthew, man. It was great having you here today. Don't go nowhere, guys. We still have a lot to talk about. But again, Matthew, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day. And not only that, but on the personal aspect, I want to thank you for just giving me the insights you've been giving me and helping me behind the scenes the way you have. You don't know how much that means to me, man. It's everything to me. And I know the information that we're going to discuss in the future here in the next day or two that we were talking about, especially the media credential things. I'm just honored to have someone like you, and also Matthew or Michael Lathrop. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Michael from the Player 54 podcast.
Had him on. Yep.
You guys have done so much for me behind the scenes, and people don't even really know. So I just want to thank you, and a big thank you to Michael as well.
Michael's a great guy.
Yeah, man, he's just so humble and down to earth, and you remind me so much of him when it comes to just like your humbleness and how down to earth you are, man. So I can't wait to see you out here in Vegas next season for the Houston Roughnecks in the Vegas game.
I hope I see you out here. That'll be awesome. I'll tell you, man, y'all at home, check out the show. I've talked with Michael. I've talked with James Larson. I've talked with Christian Antonio. I've talked with a lot of people, and we're going to continue. In Jersey, you're going to be on the same grind, I feel like. So, I mean, check it out and see these personalities, see these people, and see what they have to offer. Because that, like I said, that's been the best part. I said the best part was getting to know the players, but in general, I mean, making these connections, making friends, man. I mean, I've never met some of these people, and I feel like we're friends. So you keep up with doing what you do, bro. And I promise you, no matter where you end up, you're going to be happy, whether it's hanging outside the tailgate, engaging the fans, or sitting in the press box, watching and tweeting. I mean, no matter where you fit in, you're going to find your place. So keep it up, brother. I appreciate
that, you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. My buddy GV, He says, welcome to the family, Matt. Great to have you and have a great day,
Appreciate
G.
it, bro. Appreciate that.
You're part of the family now. You know, we're family now. We're all part of this XFL community grind and trying to help grow the brand. You know what I mean? So you're now part of the Gridiron family, and I'm happy to have you, man. And more blessings to come for you in the future and what you're doing as well. And like I said, we're gonna talk because I know you're ambitious about getting all of us to a certain point, and that's one thing that A-Train and Dirty were telling me about you, as well as Michael, that you're one of those guys who are looking to get everybody to a certain point. You know,
I'm all about collaboration.
You have the information to get us there. Definitely. And I see that. And I'm so happy to be here to have you here on the show. And I can't wait to be on your show and see where it takes us. Ball Hog
I'll get you
1
on very soon, bro.
My guy, Ball Hog 1. We're gonna be having Ball Hawk on soon as well. So make sure you guys see, look.
What's up, Ball Hawk?
Like he said, everyone's knowing everyone and connecting with everyone, man. And this is just amazing. What's going on, Ball Hawk? Happy to have you in today, man. Before you go, Gridiron Nation representative and owner, my man Gabe Garcia says, much respect to you, Matt. Keep doing the big things you're doing.
Hey, I see you too, guys. Gridiron.
Make sure.
Do your thing.
Yeah, he's a really good podcaster as well, man. Definitely go check out the Gridiron Nation podcast. I just actually helped him get into the live setup. He was just audio only as well. So definitely check him out, guys. But like I said, there's the XFL Insider Podcast information down below on the ticker going across your screen. Make sure you follow Matthew on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Again, Matthew, I want to thank you for taking 2 hours out of your day today and being here with us. I'm honored to have you here, and I can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, I'll get you on soon too, man. We're going to talk more on my show soon, so be ready for it.
Awesome. Yes, sir, I will. But again,
thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.
Matthew Tyler, everyone, host of the XFL Insider Podcast. Again, thank you, brother. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too, brother. All right, guys. That was a great interview, man. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you again, Matt. You are amazing, dude. Now, everybody, it's time to... Oh, how'd you like that interview, man? That was awesome, man. Now we got to get a real deep dive into who Matthew is. Ball Hawk, how we doing today, man? He said he'll contact you too, bro. Just hit him up on Twitter. Just hit up the Twitter, and Matt, I'm telling you, Matt's an awesome guy, bro. Just hit him up on Twitter, and he'll definitely have you on the show. I can't wait. I can't wait for that show. How you doing today, Ball Hawk? We're going to have Ball Hawk 1. He is the Viking from St. Louis, from the St. Louis Battlehawks. He's not from St. Louis, but he is the number one Battlehawks fan. He is the super fan. He is the human mascot for the St. Louis Battlehawks. My man, Ball Hawk 1. We'll be having him on the Fan Gang Nation show in the next couple weeks, next few weeks. We're working everything out. This man's busy. He's got a huge schedule. He's got kids. He's got a season to get ready for. So y'all go check out my man Ball Hawk 1. He'll show you. He'll post all the pics and everything. I mean, everything from his experience at all the St. Louis Battlehawk games. So you already know, man. You guys got to get ready for that too. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about the XFL Combine. And that's one thing that me and Matt were talking about. They did not post all of the results. You know what I mean? Not all players' results. Let's shoot for in 2 weeks. Maybe a little early if we need. Okay. Not a problem, brother. Not a problem. We're going to have Ball Hawk 1 on. Y'all see his picture. That's literally him. He dresses like that for the games. Lakobe Tucker in the story. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. I can't wait to have him on. I'm going to be reaching out to him to have him on the show, especially before the XFL draft, because Lakobe may be getting more than likely will be getting drafted. Now, look, if we were to look at the results of the testing, now don't get me wrong, we want to see things like this as fans, of course, as journalists and everything. We want to see things like this. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we definitely want to see. But the problem is, you only get to see. Oh, hold on, guys. I got to share the other screen. The problem is, you only get to see the scores of like the top 5. You feel me? Okay, so we're looking at offensive, right? Offensive big men, basically. Offensive big men. Jump height, you're getting the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. So you're not really getting everyone's score. You know what I mean? But like you said, Lakobe Tucker, there's his name right there. Lakobe Tucker, number 1 when it comes to the jump height. Lakobe Tucker, number 1 when it comes to the quick twitch. Lakobe Tucker, number 1 when it comes to the pound for pound power. Lakobe Tucker, number 1 when it comes to max strength. I'm just saying, this man, wow. Now here's your offensive combo players. Ivory Durham, the 4th QB from Valdosta State, had a 22.2. He's number 1. Then you got a tight end next. That's crazy. For the quick twitch, Benjamin Beast was had the fastest quick twitch. Pound for pound, you had D Major Roman. Max strength, D Major Roman. Now you're looking at offensive skill. Corey Johnson Jr. led that. Quick twitch, Marcellus Sutton led that. Pound for pound, Corey Johnson Jr. led that. Max strength, Roger Washington Jr. led that. So that's all you. But the only problem is they only gave us, the top 5. It would have been nice to see everybody's results. You know what I mean? It would have been nice to see that. Now, if we go to the defensive side, we get to see, the defensive side of things. Chinidu Aparaku led the jump height for the bigs. He led the quick twitch for the bigs. And he led the pound for pound for the bigs. But Janaz Jordan led the way with the max strength. When it came to the combo players, Hodges had the jump height. David Onyeman, led the quick twitch. Onyeman also led the pound for pound. And Sherman Tibbs led the way with the max strength. For the defensive skill players, James Jones the 4th led the way with in the jump height. As you can see, he also led the way with the quick twitch. Tariq Bracey led the pound for pound, and Obi Melifonwu led the max strength results. So this is all we get when it comes to, the results of the combine, which is cool. You know what I mean? There's no problem with that in my personal opinion. I just felt that we could have gotten, what's going on, Perk? Welcome in, my brother. I just felt that we could have gotten more from the actual results. They could have gave us the results from all the players. We would have been okay. We would have read through all that. Honestly, I would have. But yeah, as y'all see, man, Lakobe Tucker in the story, man. He's going to be a big problem for some defensive linemen. I can say that. He's going to be a problem for some defensive linemen. For sure, for sure. Now, I think some names that weren't up there, it's kind of disappointing. But they could have possibly been in the top 10 and we not know. And that's Joshua Flowers and Jeremiah Spicer. We were looking for them to be there. Didn't see their names up there in the top 5, but it's all good. It's all good. I think there was just a lot of pressure for players, which is understandable. A lot of nerves, which is understandable. I'm not going to bash anybody at all because that's not what we do here. But I just think there was a lot of nerves and maybe some jitters. Honestly, the defensive player I want them to draft, one person I am looking at, and it's not just because I did the interview with Jeremiah Spicer, but it's Jeremiah Spicer because of his just what he's capable of doing, man. I've watched this boy's tape. I've actually watched tape. I don't care what he did at the combine. I watched his tape. Every single play he's trying to make each play. I would be interested in getting Oparaku on the line from Fairmont State, who led the jump height, the quick twitch, and the pound for pound for the defensive bigs. I would like to see him get drafted. That would be really good for our defensive line. Getting to the quarterback, he'd be huge when it comes to getting those sacks. Him and Peta, especially if Peta comes back, oh, that would be huge. That would be huge. But one of the linebackers I'm looking for is Sherman Tibbs, possibly, because he's probably the strongest linebacker in the group. Sherman Tibbs and Jeremiah Spicer. Then we get I forgot to say his name. Akparau, whatever. Jesus, it's so hard to say, bro. Aparaku. There you go. Chinedu Aparaku. I'm interested in getting him for sure on the line. Defensive back wise, there's too many players, man. There's too many defensive players, Ball Hog. I can't. All right, brother. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Just to scroll back up, I wanted to thank you, Gabe, for saying this, man. Great interview and very informative. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He works for Ambush Sports now. He's tied in and connected with Ambush Sports. He's part of the Ambush Sports team. And he does the content creating for them. He does all the XFL content creating and everything. So big shout outs to Matt. Thanks again for being here, man. That was awesome. That was an awesome interview, man. 2 hours out your time. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And GV, thank you for the fan mail. Speaking of fan mail, before we move on and transition to before we get into the other, our main fan mail, there were a lot of USFL signings. Please go check my Twitter. But the biggest one I want to talk about is Deion Kane and Alex Magoo. Now, Alex Magoo is already possibly made the depth chart for the Green Bay Packers. It's not official yet, but from what it's looking like, he may possibly get the depth chart. You know what I mean? He may possibly get that second or third spot on the depth chart. So we're going to see how things go with him. And I think that if Jordan Love comes into this season and he lets all that pressure get to him and all that good stuff, I think it's going to be a bad start to the season for him. I also think that it will be it'll be something that's going to be heartbreaking for that man. And the reason why I say that is because if he goes out this season and he does all things wrong and he gives up that starting position, Alex Magoo is going to take over and Alex Magoo is going to be the starter. I just feel that's what's going to happen. If Jordan Love does not be successful in the start of the season, I think Alex Magoo is going to get a chance to come in or if he gets hurt. I think Alex Magoo has a better chance of getting the starting position than train wreck. I think Alex Magoo is going to get the starting position, or has a better chance of getting the starting position than Ben DiNucci does on Denver. Only because I think Russell is going to have a bounce back season this season. I think Russell's going to do a lot better this season. And he's going to have a bounce back season, and it's going to be a lot better for him. So I don't think DiNucci may get that many chances. So we'll have to see. He did make the depth chart for the Denver Broncos. He is QB3 on the depth chart as of now. So he did get that third job. But we'll have to see how the season goes for the Denver Broncos to see if DiNucci even gets any playing time. I feel that Alex Magoo will have a better chance of getting playing time than Ben DiNucci. So, with that being said, let's talk about Deon Cain, wide receiver from the Stallions, getting $1 million contract. That's big. This man went from the USFL to getting $1 million contract. He's making that money, like Matt was talking about with Abram Smith, possibly doing the same thing. Maybe not getting $1 million contract, but if he were to get a contract for $1 million, that's going to be huge. You get a spring league football player getting into the league off $1 million contract in their first contract with the league type thing. That'll be awesome for that guy. So I'm proud to say that the USFL actually developed a product within this player, or at least gave him the opportunity to hone his skills, better his skills, and get an NFL opportunity. And not only did he get an NFL opportunity, but he got $1 million contract. So, big shout out to Deon Cain, former USFL Stallions player, wide receiver, getting that big old contract. That's huge for him, man. That's huge for him. Now, let's shift gears because my boy done hit me with some more mail time. Yeah. Let's get it. My boy Hit's first question is, would you rather have the combine streamed, broadcast on TV, or both? Well, to be honest with you, Hit, I would rather have both, because I feel having both, you will get the fans and the viewers that are wanting to be in the chat on YouTube, as well as the people who would rather watch it on TV get a chance to see it as well. They don't have to watch it on YouTube if they don't want. So having it done both ways, excuse me. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Having it done both ways would be beneficial, because you'll get the attention of both audiences. The audience that wants to be in the live chat and chopping it up with the chat and getting to know people in the chat and things of that nature. And then you have those people who would prefer to watch it on television. And if they get that opportunity, they'll tune in. That way, when it comes time for future events for the XFL, boom. Now they have more viewers. And then those viewers turn into fans. And those fans turn into supporters. Does that answer your question? Hit says, I feel it. I see. Expanding their viewership if they did both. Yes, they will definitely expand their viewership by doing both. All right. On to the second question. He says, do you think fans will show out more next season, as in coming to games and supporting? Well, that's a really good question, Hit. I ain't even gonna lie. That's a really, really good question. If Josh Sella continues to do what he's been doing so far with the marketing and with them streaming the combine, giving that experience to the fans, because the NFL has never given the fans that type of experience. But streaming the combine, excuse me, also posting XFL content every single day, as well as doing better in the local markets, I think yes. I think next season there are going to be more fans that come out and support the teams. I think there's going to be more fans that support the league and actually trust in the league more. And I think there's going to be more fans that are going to actually come to the games and help fill up these stands for the different teams throughout the league, for sure. Now, does that answer that question? Because I just honestly feel that with everything that's being done so far in the offseason, a lot of people are starting to take notice of that. The XFL is trending. You can see it trending constantly now. It's being talked about a lot. It's not being talked about on ESPN like it should be, but it is trending on social media networks, and it is being talked about a lot on social media networks. So I do feel that next season the fans will show out more. I think they will start coming to more games and supporting the league and the teams more, for sure. And last question, and this is my favorite question. I ain't even gonna lie, Hit. This is my favorite question out of all your questions this week. Before I do that, let me highlight this. Let me see what you said. He said, word, because you can't be marketing the merch to compensate the loss of ticket sales. Yes, I meant to highlight that message earlier when you said that about the USFL. Them not having no ticket sales and no fans in the stands. They're compensating the loss of that with making the merchandise price high. So, yeah, can't do that. Can't try to compensate when you're doing bad in both. Because you think people are going to really buy merch if it's ridiculously high priced? They already don't come to the game. So, you know what I mean? And here's the last question. So happy you asked this. I can't honestly say I want more women's football leagues, but I want the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance, the 60 team tackle football league. I want that to get more exposure. Last week, we got to see the championship game. Well, the pro championship game, because there's 3 different divisions in the Women's Football Alliance. There's 3 different divisions: the pro, Division 1, and then Division 2. So we got to watch the Pro Division National Championship last week for the first time ever on national TV and on ESPN at that. So that was some exposure for the Women's Football League, right? But like I said, having more leagues wouldn't be good right now, because you want to get the Women's Football Alliance, the league that's out there now. It has 60 teams. So you want to get that league out. You want to get that league promoted. You want to get that league noticed by viewers and fans and these young girls who are growing up thinking like, damn, I want to play football, but girls can't play football, but y'all can. Not only that, there's plenty of girls who are playing football on boys' teams. Just saying. But I think having the Women's Football Alliance be given more exposure, like the WNBA is getting more exposure and things like that. Just having that league, even them coming out with a professional women's hockey league, I think that's smart. But yes, to answer your question, I don't think we should have more leagues. I just think I hate you. Yeah, what? No, but yeah, I don't think there should be more leagues. I just think they should give more exposure to the league that's out already. He said, Hitton said, I got you, bro. You want them to get the same exposure as the other leagues do. Exactly. Because like the WNBA has fought for so long to get the exposure that it gets. Absolutely not what, Jacob? That's my boy Jake, man, Marathon Poker. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his poker channel. He'll be coming out with some poker vlogs for you guys. So you guys make sure you guys go check him out. But what do you mean absolutely not? You wouldn't want to see more of the women's football league? I can't stand it. No, but honestly, the Women's Football Alliance, it's not bad. I watched the championship game last week. It was a pretty good game. My wife was like, it just seems a little bit slower than, men's football. But overall, they need to expose the league more. They need to give more exposure to the league, to the WFA. And I think that more people will actually attract to it. And like I said, it's women's tackle football. They're in pads and helmets and shoulder pads and everything. Like they got the whole get up on. Like it's no joke. It's really tackle football, and it's number women. You know what I mean? And it's actually pretty lit. But yeah, I don't think they should have more leagues. I think they should actually have more exposure for the league that's out now, because there's 60 teams. And Gumbo got platinum in his name, but I can't hit me trolling, y'all. But all these spitting out nickels. What is y'all talking about, bro? What are we talking about here? I'm gonna put you in timeout here. All right. Now, big news. Now, Gabe, you're gonna be we was talking about this, bruh. After all that complaining and whining, and yeah, bro, there's 60 teams because there's 3 different divisions. You got the Pro Division, you got the Division 2, or no, Pro Division, Division 1, and Division 2, or it's either Pro Division, Division 2, and Division 3. But there's 3 different divisions, and all the teams are spread out throughout the 3 different divisions. And it's called the Women's Football Alliance. It's huge, bro. It's huge. And like I said, they just had their national championship game for the Pro Division last week on Saturday, and it was on ESPN for the first time. And yes, 11-on-11, bro. It's the same as watching men's football, bro. It's just with women. Rules is the same and everything. Nothing's different, except that it's women playing instead of men playing. That's the only thing that's different. But it's called the Women's Football Alliance, the WFA. Look it up. Literally, they got 60 different teams, 3 different divisions. And that's something that needs to be talked about. It honestly does, because at the end of the day, look at what the WNBA went through to get their voices heard, to get the WNBA looked at more. Now, look, the WNBA is getting promoted all the time. Just saying, I'm going to an Aces game on August 2nd. Just saying. They just won. The WNBA Las Vegas Aces just won the WNBA championship last season and looking to repeat. And there's a lot of buzz around the WNBA. And then the championship being won in Las Vegas. And then the Golden Knights turn around and win another championship in Las Vegas. And then the WNBA has a chance to have a repeat champion in the city of Las Vegas. Come on now. I'm just saying. But yeah, Jake, check it out, man. WFA, Women's Football Alliance. And they have a Nevada team. The Aces game on the 2nd, I think, is at Michelob Arena. So that's where we going, to Michelob. So yeah, it's going down. But Gabe, and anybody else who's paying attention to what's been going on with the running backs in the NFL. This fool, Saquon Barkley, made all this fuss and did all this complaining and removed the New York Giants from his Twitter account and blah, 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 just to sign. He still ended up signing the franchise tender or signing a deal, one of the two, but he's going to be a Giant this season and play. And on top of that, now the Giants can franchise tag him again after this season. What did you do to yourself, dude? You just put yourself in a position where you're stuck with the Giants again. And we already know that they're going to tag him again. They're definitely going to franchise tag him again. They more than likely ain't going to give him no extension. Because if they wanted to, they would have gave him the extension and then tagged Daniel Jones. I'm just saying, why give Daniel Jones all that money and tag Saquon Barkley when Saquon Barkley carried your entire team the entire season? Just saying, he carried the whole offense all season long. He carried them on his back. And I just feel that his contract was restructured for him to get, bro, listen. His contract, Jake says his contract was restructured for an additional $2 million at least. Yes, I get that. But at the end of the day, he did all this complaining and whining and saying, oh, it's not fair. And he's part of the group of running backs who's been talking about not getting treated well in the NFL and not getting but his holdout got him what extra? He's only got a year and they're going to franchise tag him again. You feel me? They're going to franchise tag him again. Yes, his holdout got him extra money, but they're going to franchise tag him again next year instead of giving him actual extension. So restructuring ain't nothing. Gabe from the Gridiron Nation says, had a local women's squad league just made it to a national title game a week ago. I'm looking to get them on my show soon. It's a new market and one that should be talked about. You definitely right, man. There's a Reno Nevada Women's Football Alliance squad out here too. No. It's not. See. Look, Jake, that's where you're wrong. It's not 2 million plus incentives. It's 2 million in incentives. Real talk. It's 2 million in incentives, bro. That's the bad thing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's 2 million in incentives because you got to imagine it's only for what? 10.2 or something like that, 10.1, something like that. Because I know it ain't. I know he ain't getting it for 12. It's not for. Well, I can look at it right now. Watch this. We're gonna look that up right now, and I'm gonna bring it up on the screen so you can see. He got a $2 million signing bonus, is what he got. Worth slightly more than the franchise. Look, slightly more, bro. Let me show you. Saquon Barkley is back in the fold with the Giants. In a surprise this morning, this was the day of, the Giants and Barkley agreed to a 1-year, $11 million contract that includes a $2 million signing bonus. Although the guaranteed pay on Barkley's deal is the same as the $10.1 million he would have made by signing the tender, the Giants agreed to add $900,000 in incentives so that Barkley can earn up to $11 million and to pay $2 million up front. That's all. That only brings it to $11 million, though, Jay. It only brings it to 11 million, bro. It says it. It only brings it to 11 million. Look, although the guarantee pay on Barkley's deal is the same as the 10.1 million, they just restructured it to where he's getting 900,000 in incentives so that he can earn up to 11 million. So he got paid 2 million out of that 11 million already. I understand that. I understand the previous contract wasn't guaranteed. I understand that. I completely understand that, right? But as you see right there, it says the contract's still worth 11 million. They just restructured it. They just added 900,000. That's all they did. It was at 10.1. It was at 10.1, and all they did was just add 900,000 in incentives. Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. The G-men called Saquon's bluff, and Saquon folded. Saquon folded. He heard $900,000 and a $2 million. We're going to give you $2 million right now. Sign it, and you got $2 million. Okay. But they're going to tag him again next season. You got a 1-year contract. That's good, but I don't know, man. I don't know how good that is, man. I'm just saying, I don't know how good that is, man. Because for me, I don't know how good that is, man. I don't know how good that is. Speaking of running backs, if he would have really wanted to prove a point, because like Gabe just said, he folded. Look at Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs ain't coming to camp. Yeah, right. Josh Jacobs ain't coming to camp. No, Josh Jacobs is not coming to camp at all. He didn't. Exactly. He's looking at an addition 900K possible, but not guaranteed. Yeah, that 900,000 is in incentives. It's not guaranteed though. Still, and exactly right. Jake from Marathon Poker says, I agree. He did not help the running back collective. He did not, because he should have sat out. He should have sat out. I would have. Pay me my money of what I'm worth, or I'm sitting out. Period. Josh Jacobs won his bag. He knows what he's worth. The Raiders asked him to prove it last season. Yeah, his signing bonus is guaranteed, but that 900,000 in incentives may not be guaranteed. But that signing bonus is a for sure guarantee. But again, like with Josh Jacobs, he didn't get the contract he wanted, so he's going to sit out. Because again, the Raiders asked him before last season, to prove that he deserves, a contract extension. And what does he go out and do? He goes out and wins the rushing title. Gabe says one of two things will happen at the end of the 2023 season. He said, 1, Saquon will sign for much less than his value, or 2, he gets tagged again. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Le'Veon Bell was the last person to hold out. But I think Josh Jacobs is going to hold out this season. I think he's going to hold out the entire season because he's worth the money. You ask this man to prove that he's worth a big contract, and he goes out and wins the rushing title. He's worth a big contract. Period. The Raiders asked him to do the shit. He said, I got you. And he went out there and he did that. He was a workhorse for the Raiders. So at the end of the day, it's just like, again, if you guys want to go follow Matthew's socials, get them now before I take off the ticker. There we go. Yeah. He got a really good contract with the Jets after the holdout. And then, everything happened with his career. But if Saquon holds out, or if he would have held out, he would have been looking at a lot more money. The same with Josh Jacobs. If he holds out this whole season, if he really does a full holdout this season, he's going to be looking at getting the contract he deserves next season. And Gabe, I agree. One or two things are going to happen. Either Saquon going to sign for much less, since he didn't hold out, he's going to sign for much less than what he's actually worth. And then, or he's going to get franchise tagged again. My boy Jake says both are better than Bell, and he's talking about both Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, and I agree. Le'Veon Bell, the best thing about a Le'Veon Bell, in my opinion, was his hesitation skill. Just him being able to hesitate and then boom, and then just take off. You know what I mean? He follow his blocks, let things set up, and then boom, he's out of there. You know what I mean? That's one thing I respected the most about him. Jake says running backs are so disrespected, bro, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah, Le'Veon's his vision was crazy good. Gabe says Saquon hurt his bottom line, his future contracts, and the running back market as a whole by folding in this way. Yeah, you're right. Because again, like Jake said, running backs are so disrespected, and they are. It gets shown every single season. Damn near. Like, don't get me wrong. Alvin Kamara got his contract, but the Saints know his worth, and they appreciate his worth, so they paid him. You feel me? Christian McCaffrey got his contract and then was traded. That's the crazy thing. He got his contract and then got traded. So, anything can happen. You know what I mean? But it's just like, damn. Daniel Jones is over there laughing his ass off with that bag of 40 mil. Yeah, he is. He's crying right now. And then he's pointing his finger at Saquon like, bruh, I got paid and you didn't. You suck. Like, bro, what? You paid that man? Terrible, y'all. Terrible. Also, speaking of running backs, Dalvin Cook worked out with the Jets, and there's a possibility Dalvin Cook is talking about joining that's what I said. How the hell is Danny Dimes? He called him Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes. He called him Danny Dimes. What dimes? Stop it. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. The cap's real over there, Jake. The cap's real, bro. Don't do it to yourself. Danny Dimes, we got to come up with another nickname. Because even as fellow Cowboy fans, you already know you're a Cowboy fan too. We're going to get into this in a second. Division around Dak. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Daniel Jones needs a disrespectful nickname. Danny Bones. Because every time he gets hit, it feels like his bones is breaking. Stop. And he's definitely not worth no $40 million. He's not worth what he got in his contract extension. And I despise the league for even allowing that blasphemy to even take place. Like, what? You let this man sign get all that money and he's garbage? He had 15 touchdown reception or 15 touchdown passes last season. That's it. Get your touchdowns up, bro. Get your passing yards up, bro. Like, why is Saquon Barkley rushing for more touchdowns than you are throwing? What? But you get the bag and he don't. Like, come on now. What do y'all think about Dalvin Cook possibly being a Jet? Let's just go on to that. I don't even want to talk about Saquon. no more because he's an idiot. I'm sorry. Saquon, you're an idiot. You should have sat out. You're an idiot. You're worth way more than $10 million. You're an idiot. You should have sat out until they was willing to give you your 15. Period. You should have sat the hell out until they was willing to give you your whole 15. And you be the highest paid running back. But no, you didn't want to. But what do you guys think, chat? Viewers watching on Facebook as well as YouTube. What do you guys think about Dalvin Cook possibly joining the Jets? And if Dalvin Cook does join the Jets, what does that mean for the Jets? Y'all better not say Super Bowl. Better not say Super Bowl. Don't. I'm waiting. This is going to be interesting. That is true. I was actually reading about that earlier, that Ezekiel Elliott is still on the market, and he just met with the Patriots, so it's possible he could be joining the Patriots, especially with D-Hop. You think the Jets are going to the Super Bowl? We got another one. The Rodgers revenue tour. The revenue and revenge tour. No, I'm going to. No, because no, you can't. No, they're not going to the Super Bowl. Did you see the first 7 weeks? Did you see their schedule? I know what you meant, but did you see their schedule? Their first game of the season is against the Bills. Their second game is against us. Their fourth game is against the freaking Super Bowl champions. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's just go pull up the New York Jets 2023 schedule. Let's see this. All right. Watch this. Okay, I don't know what the hell I was seeing earlier. Okay, yep, I was right. That is a preseason. Week 1, right? Look at this. Let me show you this, guys. Because Jake don't know what the hell he's talking about. Whoa, Rodgers been beating the Cowboys his whole life. Stop it, bro. You're a Cowboys fan. How can you even say anything like that? How can you say like that? Derrick Henry got paid based on his value to his team. New York just showed how little they value their best player. You damn right. The Jets are beating the Chiefs. Look at this schedule, y'all. Look at the New York Jets' schedule, y'all. Week 1, right here. Buffalo Bills. Week 1, Buffalo Bills. Week 2, Dallas Cowboys. At Dallas. Week 3, they're at home versus New England. Week 4, at home versus Kansas City. Week 5, at home, at the Denver Broncos. Week 6, at home against Philadelphia. Week 7, they got a bye. I'm just saying, yo. Their first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games ain't no joke. A newly improved Sean Payton offense. He said, leave my boy Dak out of this. Yo, my boy Gabe said, absolutely makes 0 sense for Dalvin Cook to join the Jets with the running back room they have. I know. You said leave Dak out of this. Look, I'm gonna keep calling him divisional round Dak until he proves that he's that dude in Dallas, bro. You already know how I feel. He said, leave my boy Dak out of this. They will be battle tested. Battle test ain't the word, bro. Do you see the schedule, though, dog? Do you see this schedule? Then after their bye, they got the Giants, the Chargers, the Raiders. Then the Buffalo Bills again. Then Miami. Then the new improved Atlanta Falcons. The new improved Houston Texans, because Houston showed last year that they do have a defense. They just needed a better quarterback. They showed that they actually have a team, right? The Commanders with their whole new look. The Brown, like, bro, their schedule ain't easy, bro. Their schedule is not easy, dog. Look, even the preseason, they got 4 preseason games, bro. Like, come on. Stop it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Gridiron Podcast Show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the Gridiron Podcast Show on YouTube so you do not miss out on when this show, the Gridiron, is moving to its own YouTube channel, and this show will be live from there. So make sure you guys go to the Gridiron YouTube channel and subscribe for your boy. Yes, sure. Also subscribe to the Gridiron on TikTok as well. You already know. Or follow us on TikTok. All right, then. Hitting, I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for being here for the full 3 hours, dog. You a big dog for that. You already know. My guy. Have a good day, man. I'll talk to you in Discord. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, Hit UFC 291 will be live in the Discord. We will be having the Discord event today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when the early prelims start. So we will have that Discord event going on today. So I'll see you later on in Discord, my brother. And for anybody out there watching, if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, please feel free to hit that exclamation Discord in the chat like that right there. And it should give you the Discord link. Hopefully it works. I don't know what the hell's been going on, but for some reason, my Discord, there it is. Go ahead and click that link, and you can join the Discord server and become part of the Kingdom family. Hey, there he is. Pat Ruffino's in the building. Oh, I seen, bro. You're perfectly fine. Thank you for being here, man. This is my guy, Pat Ruffino. This is the guy, Pat Ruffino, man. One of the biggest names in spring sports journalism, man. That's the guy right there. You got to go holler at him. That's Pat Ruffino from Analyze and Educate YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. Go check out his content, especially if you love football as much as we do. That's the guy right there. Welcome in, Pat. Thanks for being here, man. You don't never have to apologize. He said between that and trying to set up some more interviews, I hear that, brother. I hear that. We had a great interview today with Matt Tyler from the XFL Insider podcast. He took 2 hours today to really, give us his insight on what he thinks the league is going to have going on in the future and where the league is going to be. He gave us a lot of insight about who he is, how he got to where he is, and just the journey it took. And we just got to know a lot more about him. Oh, definitely, bro. You definitely got to come out here to Vegas. Yes, sir. I'll definitely be here when it's time, man. Vegas is going to be fun next season. I'm going to make sure of it. The Viper Pit is going to be jumping for the XFL game, so make sure you guys be ready. Cashman Field is going to be lit. I'm going to be there going crazy, guys. But, yeah, man, I think I really think that the Jets have a tough task next season. Everybody's over here like, oh, the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. The Jets are going to the Super Bowl. The Jets got to get out of the first 6 weeks of the season. They got to go into their bye with at least a 50% record. They got to at least be at 500. Because if they're not at 500, if they're below 500 after or going into their bye week, don't look for the Jets to be making the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, let's really be, as a New Yorker, the Jets are going to jet. Look, I'm a New Jersey guy. I hate the fact that the Jets and the Giants both play in New Jersey instead of all that space in New York, the state as a whole we're talking about. Build a daggone stadium for them to share out there. Dang. Get up out of our state. You feel you're going to represent. I'm just saying. Dang. But let's be honest. Look at how look how Aaron Rodgers has played the last 3 seasons in Green Bay. Y'all really think, look, okay, and let's keep it 100. The Green Bay Packers has talent, especially on the defense. And when you got a two-headed monster on offense and you've had wide receivers like Devontae Adams on your team and you still played like crap, you mean to tell me you're expecting me to believe, you want me to put it in my head and bleed it into my head that Aaron Rodgers is going to come out and play like he did 4 or 5 years ago after playing 3 years of like crap, not even getting his team to the playoffs? Come on now. Y'all think Aaron Rodgers is going to go up in here and now all of a sudden he's just going to be that dude again? Think about it. He's been in a slump for 3 years. Even with 2 back-to-back MVPs, he's been in a slump for 3 years. You really think, Jake, the Jets have the Jets currently have the longest playoff drought at 12 years in NFL. Rodgers will change that guaranteed. But they got to get out of the first 7 weeks. They got to make it to their bye. Do I got to pull up the schedule again? Let's pull up the schedule again so you guys can see this again. Look at their first 6 weeks. Look at the first 6 weeks, y'all. Look, Buffalo, Dallas, New England, Kansas City, Denver, Philly. You're playing the Super Bowl champs and their challenger on top of one of the best teams in your division, another good team in your division, in the first 6 weeks of the season. Then you turn around and you got to play the Giants, and with the moves that they're making right now, ain't no telling how good they're going to look next season. We might actually make it happen. The NFC East might actually be the first conference to have all their teams make the playoffs next season. Just saying. And every team in the AFC East has a possibility of making the playoffs next season. So stop sleeping on New England. Stop sleeping on Miami, because last season Miami had the number 1 offense until Tua got hurt. They had the most high-powered offense until Tua got hurt. Stop it. That's a tough task. Justin Herbert has a new offensive coordinator and some more weapons. Tua's trash. Green Bay chose to draft his replacement and get rid of Adams. The Green Bay front office was the problem, not my guy. We will see. No, Aaron Rodgers was the problem as well, because Aaron Rodgers didn't play up to Aaron Rodgers' potential. And then he said Tua is trash. How was Tua trash when he just showed last season before he got injured? He showed that he was part of the highest powered offense. Jake, am I not? I'm just saying, bro. He ain't had it. Top 12, okay. Pat says Tua's not trash, not elite, but he's not he's top 12. Okay. Jake says that he's trash because he's never won anything. Hold on. Did he not win a national championship at Alabama? Or no, you're right. No, he didn't win a national championship in Oklahoma. You're right. My bad. My bad. I don't even remember what college he went to, bro. I think it was Alabama. Yeah, he went to Alabama. Okay, so stop. He's never won anything. Aaron Rodgers only won one. Aaron Rodgers has only won one Super Bowl. Thank you. Top 12 is enough to win a big game. Boom. He replaced Jalen Hurts to come from behind and win a national championship, sir. So, don't call Tua trash. Green Bay would not support your guy. He lied about having COVID. Bro. So you're good with all this. I need a dark retreat. Give me a building with one window and the window's on the door looking ass. Come on. Aaron Rodgers is not going to do. Look, Aaron Rodgers could do as great as he wants this season. The Jets aren't going to the Super Bowl. They might make the playoffs, but Super Bowl, no, not happening. That's like me being a Dallas Cowboys fan, which I am, but being one of those blind Dallas Cowboy fans, being one of those so die hard that I don't look at the facts. Thank you. He's seen the playoffs in that dark room. He definitely seen the playoffs in that dark room. Gabe says the Jets might finish last in their division, to be honest, and I say the same thing. I say the same exact thing. They could finish last. Any of these players can lie, cheat, steal, dark retreats, crazy takes, etc. as long as he wins. It's why we let Kyrie for a while act Craig, and he got accepted back. And AB, you definitely right, Pat. You're definitely right. But that dark retreat, he saw the playoffs in the dark retreat. He saw the Jets in the playoffs. Make sure you guys follow me on Spotify as well, man. Make sure you follow the Gridiron podcast on Spotify. He said he saw the playoffs in that dark room. He saw him playing for the Jets. The NFL added an extra wild card, so there's no way the team that they had last year and Rodgers coming in missed the playoffs. You may possibly be right. Okay, they'll make the wild card and get knocked out. Stop it. I'm just saying, dude. It's not happening, bruh. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're not winning the Super Bowl. Even if they were to make the Super Bowl, they're not winning. All right? Make sure you also follow me on Instagram. They're not winning, bro. I promise you, they're not. They're not winning the Super Bowl next season. But again, that's like Cowboy fans saying we're guaranteed to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. No, we're not. Dak Prescott needs to be better than the division around Dak in order for that to happen. Don't get me wrong. We got the pieces on offense and the elite defense to go with it. Don't get me wrong whatsoever. Look, Peyton did that, but Peyton's better than him. Peyton's better than Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. In my opinion, Peyton Manning is better than Aaron Rodgers. Period. I don't care. Michael, what's going on, bro? Watching on Facebook. I see you, brother. Thank you. That's the point I'm trying to make. The Jets got to play arguably the best two divisions in football with the AFC and the NFC East. Every team in both divisions play defense, and that's the AFC and the NFC East. Both those divisions, both those East divisions and both conferences are really, really good. If even with the Commanders and their trust in Sam Howell, if that's their guy and he does well, Dak does well, Jalen does well, Danny Bones and Saquon and the Giants do well, and then on the other side, the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins all make the playoffs. Come on now. I'm just saying. It's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a tough task, man. I'm just saying. It's going to be a tough task for them. It's not going to be no easy feat for them to just go through. You got to imagine they got to play the Dolphins twice. They got to play the Bills twice. They got to play the Patriots twice. So with that, you got to play both teams in your division or all three other teams in your division twice. You got to hope to win those 6 games to be the best team in the division. And with just adding Aaron Rodgers and a couple old niggas, excuse my language, but I'm just saying. Because Allen Lazard is old. Period. Randall Cobb is old. On top of that, let's not forget about Baltimore. Let's just stay in the AFC. Let's not forget about Baltimore. Let's stop sleeping on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Let's stop sleeping on Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Ain't no telling what the Raiders gonna do. I'm just saying. It's too many good teams out there for everybody to guarantee or be so high on the Jets going to the Super Bowl and winning it all. And I think it's Super Bowl or bust, period. So that's how I look at everything. The Jets are not going to the Super Bowl, and if they do, they're not winning, period. Now, this leads me into my last subject of the day. And we're definitely going to call this the way too early college football AP top 25. Bro, you're going to sleep on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars? Stop, bro. Bruh, stop, bro. The Jaguars are going to be a tough team to play against this season. They have a really good young defense over there, and they have a really good young offense over there. And Trevor Lawrence knows what he's doing, bro. Stop it. Trevor Lawrence got a bone to pick with a couple of these quarterbacks in some of these teams. You'll take Tua over Trevor Lawrence? I would too, but still, Trevor Lawrence is going to be that guy down there for a long time. So just watch what I tell you, bro. Watch what I tell you. But yeah, let's get into these way too early college football rankings. Your AP top 25 college football rankings. You feel me? And this is just preseason rankings. But again, this is way too early rankings. Right now, they got Georgia at 1. I agree with that. I mean, you have to agree with that. They won the national championship game. So, I mean, you have to give them that. Michigan at 2. Alabama at 4. Ohio State at 3. I'm okay with that. I think LSU should actually be higher than Penn State. I think LSU should be in the top 5, to be honest. And then Penn State, and then USC, I think should be actually. I think USC should be in the top 5, and I'm kind of surprised that they're not. But I guess I can be okay with Michigan and Ohio State being right here. I think Alabama should be slid down a little bit to 6. I think LSU should be 5. USC should be 4, honestly. But USC, I agree, Jake. USC might go all the way next season. I think USC is going to be one of them teams that Georgia has to look out for. Then they got Florida State, Washington. I feel they're a top 10 team. TCU. Now, this is where I feel that they should have been ranked a little higher, especially with having Max Duggan coming back. I think they should be ranked a lot higher. Utah, right where they should be, around 11 or 10. Tennessee, right where they should be. Notre Dame, right where they should be. Clemson, right where they should be. Oregon, right where they should be. Oregon State, exactly where they should be. Texas is right where they should be. Tulane, it's surprising for a lot of people, but I agree with the top 18. They did have a great season last season, going 12-2 and winning the Cotton Bowl. So you got to look out for Tulane this season too. Texas Tech, I don't agree with this. I think Texas Tech should be a little lower. I think Kansas State and Iowa should definitely be higher than Texas Tech. North Carolina, I feel that they're where there should be. Wisconsin, I think they're where there should be. Ole Miss is where they should be, and then UTSA is definitely where they should be. They did have a good season last season, but they did lose their bowl game. Yeah, the Ducks are going to have a great year too. Jake says UCLA or USC, excuse me, not UCLA. USC is going all the way, and he says the Ducks are going to have a great year. And then Gabe says Peyton Manning is definitely better than, or indeed better than Aaron Rodgers. How do you guys feel, sticking to college football, how do you guys feel about them Buffaloes going back to the Big 12? Do you guys feel that with the Colorado Buffaloes going back to the the Commanders do have an elite defense. You are right about that. But what do you guys think about the Colorado Buffaloes going back to the Big 12? Do you think this does this change Does this change the outlook on the future of the college conferences and the super conferences in college football? Do you see a lot of changes happening in the future to where more big teams are going to these different conferences and making these conferences super conferences? Because we've had a lot of conference changes within teams over the last 10 years. And I think that over the next 5-6 years, there's going to be more, and there's going to be real dynamic changers. Right now, Colorado's in the Pac-12. They're not doing the best. When they were in the Big 12, they were doing pretty good. You know, they were always in a good conversation, unless they were having a bad season. That's just what it was. But with the team going back to the Big 12, with the teams that are in the Big 12 now, do you feel that it's going to be something good for the future of not only the Big 12, but of the super conferences around college football? Jake says Colorado is an interesting team. I'm curious to see if Prime brings success this year. I am too. You know, he's already got his son that came with him. You know what I mean? And of course, with him being the coach, he's going to be able to recruit some elite talent just because of who he is. And kids are going to want to come and play at Colorado just because of who he is. So we'll see if, you know, those kids buy into what he's selling. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Half the Liberty team, or excuse me, half the Jackson State HBCU team that Coach Prime was coaching at, transferred to Colorado to continue to play with him. So that's going to be big. Jackson State won last season. They won their season. Let me put it that way. They went 12-0. And I believe won their bowl game. So with that, half the the team going over to Colorado, Coach Prime is going to just have instant success because he's already got players that he's coached for how many years? You know what I mean? So it's going to be big for them. You know what I mean? Colorado is going to bring some success to the table when it comes to them going back to the Big 12. Now, where was I looking? Let's see right now what all teams remain in the Big 12. Currently, the Big 12 has Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, TCU, Texas Tech, and Virginia. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. Colorado left in 2011 and 2012. 4 teams left: Nebraska, Colorado, Texas A&M, and Missouri. Missouri and Texas A&M went on to the SEC. Nebraska went on to the Big 10. Colorado went on to the to the Pac-12. Now the conference is planning to add Cincinnati, Houston, BYU, and UFC or UCF in this year. So I believe that now the Big 12 will actually add on Cincinnati, Houston, BYU, and Central Florida this season. And then next season, Colorado's coming back. So that's going to be like 15 teams in the Big 12 compared to the 10 that they have right now. So I think the expansion is going to be big. I think with more teams wanting to come to the Big 12, I think it's going to be not only like a challenging year for the Big 12, but I think it's going to be a year all about team production and how these teams produce. Jake says, I feel that it's going to be a down year for Oklahoma. They miss Lincoln Riley, and Texas will have a great year. I think so too. I think Texas will have a great year, and I think Oklahoma is going to feel the effect of not having Lincoln Riley there. So that's definitely going to be big. But again, currently they actually did add him in. So yes, this upcoming season, Brigham Young University, BYU, Central Florida, the University of Central Florida, UCF, University of Cincinnati, and the University of Houston are all moving to the Big 12 this season in football. So, and then the University of Colorado will be moving in next season. Now, you do have affiliate members, which is Air Force Academy. University of Alabama is an affiliate of the Big 12. California Baptist University, University of Denver, California State University. There's several universities that are affiliated, and it's crazy to see that Alabama and Air Force are one of those, and even Missouri. But Missouri used to be a part of the Big 12, so there's no real surprise when it comes to that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting college football season, but that's just how I feel. Some of those numbers are some of those positions are a little misguided, in my opinion. I feel some teams need to be moved up a little bit, and some need to be shifted around. Yeah, Cincy and Houston, that's lit. The Big 12 is going to look a lot better. Yes, it definitely is, especially with adding Cincinnati, Houston, hell, Brigham Young, and Central Florida. You know what I mean? Central Florida's been playing really good for the past few seasons. BYU's been playing really good for the past few seasons as well, and I think them coming to the Big 12 is going to help them in the future of college football for their programs. So I think it's going to be a big season this season, guys, and I'm excited. But that's it for today. I want to definitely thank you guys for tuning in today. We had an amazing show. Again, shout out to Matthew Tyler, the host of the XFL Insider Podcast. Again, if you guys would like to check out any of his socials and check out the show, there's the information down below right there. Go hit up that ticker for the information. I'll let it run for a little bit so you guys can write that stuff down and go check out the XFL Insider Podcast. Jake, thank you for pulling up, man. Greatly appreciate it, man. Jumping in the chat, chopping it up with me. Make sure you guys go and follow my boy Jake from Marathon Poker. So when he starts putting out his content, his poker vlogs, then you guys can definitely stay up to date with all that content that'll be coming out from him. Go check out my boy Gabriel Garcia over at the Gridiron Nation podcast. Go check out my boy Matthew Tyler of the XFL Insider podcast. Go check out Michael Lathrop of the Player 54 podcast. Go check out the Rough 'em Up crew. Go check them out, the Horns Forward crew. Go check out the Smoking Guns crew. And most importantly, go check out the B-Hawk Live and the X-Fan Show crew, the originators of this whole XFL fandom and podcasting and things like that. Just y'all look. What? Go check them guys out. A-Train and Dirty. The originators, never innovators. They started this shit, man. So make sure you guys have your dials set whenever they go live, because they'll let you know how they got it done. But again, I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. This was probably one of the best shows I've had as far as having a guest on and the interaction, just the presentation of the show. I'm starting to step my game up, as you guys see, actually placing the fan mail questions on screen and things like that. I'm going to start doing a lot more of this and making sure that it's more interactive for you guys as well. And again, like I said, I just thank you guys for being here and spending time with me today. We almost had 3.5 hours, man. Today was a great show. This Thursday on the Fang Gang Nation show, live at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the Gridiron Network. No, I'm just playing. Right here on the Jersey the King Show channel. We will be having two of the hosts of the B-Hawk Live show, Daddy Ed and Amanda, the Queen Hyena, from the B-Hawk Live show. They will be on live around 4:30. The show will start at 2 as normal, but they'll be on around like 4:30, 2:30 my time, 4:30 Central Standard Time, and 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys are ready there and ready to go for the XFL Vegas Vipers only fan show out, the Fang Gang Nation show, hosted by your boy Jersey the King. Fang Gang, Fang Gang, Fang Gang. That's my Viper strike. You know what I'm saying? But everybody on YouTube, I want to thank you guys for pulling up. GV, Hit, Gabe, Jake, Pat Ruffino from Analyze and Educate. Who else showed up today, man? Platinum Gumbo. Ewa! My boy Pert. Young Pert boy, my dog. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Also, who else? My boy Gabe, Tangerine Lee Tree. It's my dude right there. Appreciate all you guys pulling up, man, and showing some love. Everybody on Facebook, Ballhawk 1, Michael Boren, my mother-in-law Nicole Jones, my boy Rasta, my boy Dorian, Jess Thompson, everybody that showed up on Facebook. Thank you guys for being here as well. You guys are the real MVPs. And just everybody that shows the love, even if you don't chat in the stream and I don't know that you're watching, I still greatly appreciate it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you like and share the stream on both Facebook and YouTube. And make sure you let your friends and family who are XFL and football lovers, tell them to come through, man. Tell them to come holler at me. I'm here every week, all week long, at least Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You'll see my face talking about some football, talking about some XFL, talking about the Vegas Vipers. So that's what goes down here. We're going to have a great show next week. I can't wait. We're going to have some more college football talk, of course, some more NFL talk, some more XFL talk. and some more USFL talk. So until next week, y'all already know what it is. I want to thank y'all for being here. And again, thank you, Jake. You have a good one too, bro. I'll holler at you later. Again, I just want to thank everybody for showing the love and support that you guys constantly do show to me and always being here, man. So again, this is Jersey the King. This is the Gridiron Podcast. Until next time, holla at ya, boy. I love y'all, man. Peace.